Chapter 1284. Ningxu rolled his eyes. He thought the two of them were childhood sweethearts and innocent playmates. Ningxu turned on the internet AI and realized that he could not read a single word. Alves clicked on a literacy tutorial and asked Ningxu to learn from it. He also asked the others to learn from it. After all, one needed to be literate to play games. Ningxu whispered to Alves, "Aren't you afraid that Vivian will meet that man in the game again?" "No, because the girl I likes that man," Alves said. He seemed to have thought of something and his blue eyes glowed. Ningxu was speechless. What a complicated and fucking relationship this was. In the end, as soon as she left Planet Seld, the people she thought she could be with all met the person she was destined to be with. However, these were not things that Ningxu should be worried about. She was learning to read every day and thinking about her future plans. To become a powerful mech pilot, she still had to go to the academy. Because she could read, Ningxu searched for information about the Mech Pilot Academy on Planet Omega on the Internet AI. She found out that the Mech Pilot Academy would be recruiting students soon. Ningxu planned to give it a try. She was only short of money now. She had to think of a way to earn some money for her school fees. Alves was busy with his own things. He was busy writing and drawing every day. It was very complicated. Ningxu did not understand what he was doing at all. There were specializations in the field. It was very difficult for Ningxu, but it was nothing for Alves. Alves said that he wanted to use this design and the technological breakthrough that would appear later to open the door to building mechs and spaceships. Alves wanted his former master to take him in as a disciple. Ningxu thought of something. "Didn't you say that your master was assassinated? You should be more careful in case your master is thrown somewhere." "I know." Alves nodded. Ningxu returned to his room to cultivate. Oh, Planet Omega did not have spirit energy, but there was another kind of energy. Ningxu did not know what this energy was. It was different from spiritual energy. What was surprising was that peerless martial arts could absorb this kind of energy. After cultivating for a while, Ningxu did not experience any side effects. His body had also become stronger, so he was able to cultivate with peace of mind. It seemed that spiritual energy was not the only energy in the world. When the energy was absorbed into his body, it formed Qi energy in his dantian. It was about to take the form of Qi. Ningxu felt great. With a little ability to protect himself, Ningxu had the confidence to go out. Ningxu greeted Arves and said that he wanted to take on some missions. Arves did not approve of Ningxu becoming an interstellar hunter. Those missions were very dangerous. Ningxu said that he would find a simple mission to complete. Above them were all kinds of spaceships. Ningxu arrived at the Interstellar Hunter Alliance, according to the address given by the artificial intelligence system. Ningxu walked into the alliance. There were robots doing all kinds of work inside. There were people coming and going. They were all here to accept missions and hand in missions for money. To survive in Omega, one had to earn money. This was the case no matter where one was. Ningxu saw all kinds of missions. For example, hunting down space pirates. For example, someone wanted to go to a certain planet and recruit 2 strong mecha operators to accompany them. Most of the mission targets were mecha operators. There were also missions to salvage all kinds of cosmic dust and garbage. Ordinary people could also accept them, but the money was very little. Ningxu browsed through the mission list and saw Planet Rado. It said that the devil vines were spreading again. Mecha operators needed to drive spaceships to wipe them out. The devil vines had very strong survivability. Even if the spaceships and mecha operators were destroyed, they would grow back soon. It was really a spring breeze. If they were not cleaned up regularly, the entire Planet Rado would be covered. Ningxu nodded to show that he understood. When she was a summoner, her summoned beasts were like grass. When they grew up, they would cover the sky and the sun. The most important thing was that they could absorb everything. Their vitality was strong and they were very difficult to deal with. Ningxu thought about it and gave up on this mission. If he was entangled by the vines, he would become nourishment for the vines. That would be terrible. However, Ningxu stared at the introduction of the devil vines. It said that the devil vines could speak. It was suspected to be a creature from another world. It didn't speak the interstellar language. If it could speak, then it already had its own spiritual intelligence. Ningxu thought of Xiao Qiao. Ningxu decided to take a look. Ningxu reached out and pressed the option to accept the mission on the screen. Even if it wasn't Xiao Qiao, the other party had already developed spiritual intelligence and could communicate. It was a good skill to be able to communicate with creatures with spiritual intelligence. Ningxu accepted the mission. Immediately, a robot brought Ningxu to the designated position to wait. There were already a few people in the position. When they saw Ningxu, they sized up Ningxu. Ningxu was short. Although he was already 13 years old, he had been malnourished since he was young. When he came to planet Omega, although there were nutrient solutions, he couldn't jump up immediately. These people didn't mock Ningxu. After all, every mission had cannon fodder. Ningxu sat down and waited. People joined the mission one after another. When everyone arrived, the robot brought Ningxu and the other interstellar hunters onto the spaceship. There were already many people on the spaceship. So many people were needed to kill the demon-killing vines. Ningxu wasn't conspicuous in the crowd. He sat cross-legged in a corner, either cultivating his spiritual power or cultivating his ultimate martial arts. In the eyes of others, Ningxu was sleeping. The spaceship was very fast, but it took a lot of time to reach Planet Rado. Everyone, Planet Rado is just ahead, the leader said. Ningxu looked at the results of the spaceship scan. A part of Planet Rado was covered by a dark thing. Although the black shadow didn't look big on the screen, it was compared to the entire Planet Rado. The area covered by the demon-killing vines was very large. Moreover, places covered by the demon-killing vines couldn't survive at all. A large wave of spaceships headed in the direction of the demon-killing vines. As if sensing danger, the demon-killing vines stood up and covered the sun all day long. The spaceships released secret laser beams. When the vines were hit, they immediately turned to ashes. Some spaceships were entangled by the vines. The demon-killing vines waved the vines and smashed the spaceships to the ground. They swung around and threw the spaceships out. The people on the spaceships were unlucky. They were spinning around in the spaceship. They would probably vomit all over the ground. Some spaceships were pierced by the vines. The material used to make the spaceships was very strong, but it was pierced by the vines. Even if the spaceship's attacks could turn the demon-killing vines into ashes, the demon-killing vines would grow new vines. It was too difficult to deal with. Everyone's expression was very ugly. Every time they dealt with the demon-killing vines, they would lose a lot of financial and material resources. It wasn't that they were kind to Planet Rado, but that they had to control the demon-killing vines on Planet Rado. Chapter 1285. If it was allowed to spread, the entire galaxy would be covered by this thing. Moreover, wherever this thing went, the energy would be absorbed. One by one, the planets would become useless. Ningxu looked at the demonic vine. If anyone could control this, it would become a powerful killing weapon. However, it felt like a scam to fight against this thing. You despicable humans. Ningxu heard the demonic vine speak. It was a girl's cute voice. Ningxu's heart skipped a beat. This voice sounded familiar. Captain, the demonic vine is going to get angry. A man frowned and said. Ningxu immediately said to the captain, Captain, I'm willing to fight. The captain didn't even look at Ningxu. He just waved his hand. Ningxu took it as a yes. He got out of the spaceship and flew towards the demonic vine. Ningxu released his spiritual power. Xiao Qiao, Xiao Qiao. Ningxu didn't know if Xiao Qiao still recognized him. He could only try to communicate with her. Who are you? A vine as thick as an arm wrapped around Ningxu's waist and pulled Ningxu over. Who are you? How do you know my name? Your soul is a little familiar. Xiao Qiao was a little confused. You're a summoned beast. I'm a summoner. Do you remember? Ningxu asked. I forgot a long time ago. Xiao Qiao said bluntly and threw Ningxu away. Ningxu was speechless. When did the little loli become so stubborn? You really forgot? Ningxu asked. The concentrated rays hit Xiao Qiao's vines. The vines were annihilated into ashes. Ningxu was a little anxious. Put it away first. Don't fight these things head-on. Hide first. I don't want you to care. Xiao Qiao said to Ningxu angrily. However, she was slowly retracting her vines. The people on the spaceship and the mecha operators floating around increased their attacks. The vines retracted even faster, revealing the ground covered by the vines. It had already become a desert. "Come on, the vines are almost gone," the captain said excitedly. In the end, the vine shrunk into an inconspicuous blade of grass. Ningxu grabbed the grass in his hand and put it into the cloth bag. Ningxu returned to the ship. When the others saw that Ningxu was still alive, they couldn't help but be surprised. The captain was counting the casualties and losses this time. Xiao Chao nudged the cloth bag. Ningxu hurriedly pressed down on the bag and sat in the corner. He whispered, "Don't move." Xiao Chao, who was in the bag, became obedient. Ningxu had always been inconspicuous and kept a low profile. Besides, no one had noticed her. When the spaceship arrived at the Interstellar Hunter Alliance, Ningxu even received some money. This mission was relatively difficult. Those who could return alive would earn a lot of money. For those who died, double the commission would be compensated to the relatives of the deceased. In short, it wasn't easy to survive. Ningxu brought Xiao Chao back. He didn't dare to take Xiao Chao out when she was outside. Other than at home, the entire planet of Omega was under surveillance. Only at home was there a little privacy. When Arve saw that Ningxu had returned, she sighed in relief and asked, "What kind of mission did you take?" "Looking for a pet," Ningxu said casually. Arve's. "Oh, Omega's AI system can accurately locate an ant. Do I need you to look for a pet?" Ningxu laughed. "I'm just teasing you. Look at how serious you are. Don't take on dangerous missions in the future. Many of them can't be returned," Arve said. Ningxu nodded. "I know. I still want to become a mech master." She couldn't bear to die. "Aren't you a summoner?" Xiao Chao, who was in the pocket, said disdainfully. Arve looked around. Ningxu asked, "Did you hear anything just now?" Ningxu shook his head calmly and dug his ears. "I didn't hear anything. I'm going to rest." Arve's expression was a little confused, but he didn't care. Ningxu returned to his room, locked the door, and poured Xiao Chao out of his pocket. Xiao Chao turned into a human, and still looked like a little loli. She was barefoot and had a bell anklet on her ankle. Xiao Chao lifted her chin and looked at Ningxu. She snorted. Ningxu patted her head. "Why haven't you grown up?" Xiao Chao looked at Ningxu. "Who are you? I don't know you." Ningxu thought, "Little temper. There's no spiritual energy in this godforsaken place. I used to grow, but now I've shrunk back." Xiao Chao stared at Ningxu. "How did you get here?" Ningxu asked curiously. "I don't know. I passed through a gap and came here. Then I couldn't find the way back," Xiao Chao said. "Gap between planes?" Ningxu asked, "Where's your previous master?" "He's dead. You probably don't know how much time has passed. I've lived for hundreds of years." Xiao Chao pouted. Ningxu sighed. "You're still the same height even after hundreds of years. That's still better than you. You're short and ugly now." "Umph." Xiao Chao lifted her chin. "Are you angry at me?" Ningxu looked at Xiao Chao. She was a cute little loli. The little loli looked at Ningxu from the corner of her eyes. "Wasn't I obvious enough? I really want to slap you." "What do you do all day?" the little loli asked curiously. "Running all over the world?" Ningxu nodded. "Running all over the world. This time it was in this plane. Next time it would be in another plane." "Why?" the little loli asked Ningxu. Ningxu said, "To live." The little loli replied, "Oh, then I'll forgive you." "Oh, are you leaving again this time?" "Just like when I used your master's body. I'm leaving this body," Ningxu said directly. The little loli had lived for hundreds of years. Some things could be understood with a little thought. The little loli pouted. "Really, it's better if we didn't meet." Ningxu felt that the little loli he met this time was obviously more temperamental than the little loli he met before. The little loli he met before was so innocent. Now the little loli was two-faced. "Then take me with you. I don't want to stay in this godforsaken place. There's no spiritual energy here." The little loli Ningxu said, "I don't think I can take you with me." Ningxu said, if she had a little bit of strength, she could take Xiao Chao with her. The little loli said. Oh. She looked very wronged. This is the interstellar plane. It's normal that there's no spiritual energy here. You should be able to absorb energy if you cultivate peerless martial arts. You should know about peerless martial arts. Xiao Qiao immediately said, Of course I know, but this kind of energy conflicts with the energy in my body. That's why I chose to absorb other kinds of energy. Why didn't her cultivation conflict? Was it because there was no spiritual energy in her body? There was only one kind of energy in her body. Ningxu spread his hands helplessly. Then there's nothing I can do. Ningxu gave the nutrient solution to Xiao Qiao. Xiao Qiao tasted it and shook her head. It doesn't taste good. Ningxu rolled his eyes. Drink it. Chapter 1286. Xiao Qiao smacked her lips and drank the nutrient solution. She gradually adapted to the taste of the nutrient solution, and her expression was not so strange anymore. After this, you will live with me. Don't show your true form. If you haven't learned the planet, just pretend to be mute and nod or shake your head. Xiao Qiao sucked on the straw and nodded obediently. Ningxu led Xiao Qiao out of the room. Arves, who was drinking water, choked and stared straight at Xiao Qiao. Xiao Qiao made a face at Arves. Cough, cough. Arves coughed and pointed at Xiao Qiao. Sister, where did this child come from? I picked her up. Arves said. I didn't see this child before. I just went out and picked her up. Arves said helplessly. Don't pick up everything. If this child is a wanted criminal, she will be expelled if she doesn't have a qualified Omega residence certificate. So I'm taking her to get a residence certificate now. Ningxu nodded and said. Sister, my point is not the residence certificate. The point is not to bring back people you don't know. Arv said. Ningxu nodded. I know. This child is harmless. I can guarantee it. Xiao Qiao, ha. Ningxu looked at her from the corner of his eyes. What was she laughing about? Yes, you are awesome. How much financial and material resources are wasted every year to deal with you? You are the cockroach that cannot be killed in the interstellar. Ningxu held Xiao Cao's hand and went out. Xiao Qiao turned back and stuck her tongue out at Arves. Arves was a person who had lived 2 lifetimes. How could he be calculative with a little girl? If Arves knew that this little girl had lived for hundreds of years, he wouldn't think like this. He was the most troublesome demon vine in the Interstellar Alliance. He would probably only shout at her, get lost. Ningxu gave Xiao Qiao an Omega residence certificate. The money he got from the previous missions was basically gone. Why was it so expensive to get a certificate? And it was temporary. He had to get a new one after a while. Only people with permanent residency were counted as real residents of Omega. Also, people with permanent residency on Omega enjoyed a lot of rights. They could get money just sitting at home. However, they had to have made significant contributions to Planet Omega. Her school fees were gone again. Ningxu's mood was very low, but Xiao Qiao was looking around with interest. All of this made Xiao Qiao feel strange. They could fly in the sky without the need for a flying summon beast, and their speed was so fast. It was these things that shot out that destroyed her vines. Ningxu still planned to accept more missions. After all, he needed to earn money. Not only did he need to pay for his school fees, he also needed to build a mech that was suitable for him. They didn't have enough money. Moreover, it was especially hard to earn money on planet Mega. Mecha masters earned the most money. At the very least, they were still researchers like Arves. When Vivian saw Xiao Qiao, she almost held her face in her hands and screamed, "So cute! He's so similar to the people in the game." Vivian pinched Xiao Cao's face, but Xiao Qiao remained expressionless. "You're too cute." Vivian pinched Xiao Cao's face and then pinched her hands. Xiao Qiao directly walked away and sat down with Ningxu. Ningxu asked Vivian, "How's your game going?" "I'm not earning much money," Vivian said. "Take it slow." It was good enough to earn money. With so many people playing the game, the combined money was not little. It was enough to buy nutrient fluids. Also, they didn't need to drink nutrient fluids every day. "Sister, it's the school enrollment soon. Don't miss it," Arves said. Vivian immediately said, "We'll all go and cheer you on then." "No need. I'll be nervous if there are too many people." Ningshu went out to accept a mission. This time, it was a relatively simple mission. Xiao Qiao followed beside Ningshu and asked, "Do you need my help?" "No need. There's no spiritual energy here. The spiritual energy in your body is depleted. I can solve it myself." Ningshu refused. Ningshu realized that in the universe, there were not only vines that covered the sky like Xiao Qiao, but also insects that ate everything. Just like locusts, they could eat planets. There was nothing that they couldn't eat. The universe was really dangerous. Not only did he have to kill Xiao Qiao, but he also had to kill these insects. Moreover, these things without intelligence reproduced at a terrifying speed. Even Xiao Qiao had to retreat in front of them. Ningshu completed the mission, got some money, and went home with Xiao Qiao. However, as soon as he got home, Ningshu saw a person lying in the living room who had been beaten until his parents couldn't recognize him. A few people were cleaning his wounds. Arvez looked a little anxious. "This is your master?" Ningshu asked Arvez. Arvez nodded. There was a period of time today when the interstellar network was disconnected. It was probably to deal with Master. When the interstellar network was disconnected, Planet Omega's artificial intelligence temporarily lost its monitoring of the entire planet. "Is that so? Is your master seriously injured?" "He'll be fine," Arvez said with certainty. Even so, his eyes were anxious. Arvez's master was wearing a white coat with dust on his clothes. He didn't know who he had offended to be dealt with like this. This person woke up after being unconscious for a day. He rubbed his head and saw a young man in a wheelchair guarding the bed. "Master, you're awake," Arvez blurted out. The man was stunned for a moment. Arvez immediately said, "Are you feeling better?" Arvez took a nutrient solution for the man. "I'm Jeffrey." "Little guy, what's your name?" Jeffrey asked Arvez. "My name is Arvez." "Arvez, thank you for saving me." Jeffrey drank the nutrient solution. Jeffrey had a black and white stubble. He was probably not young, but his body was very strong and his back was straight. Ningshu saw that Arvez and his master were getting along very well. The two of them had endless topics to talk about. Moreover, they were all very profound discussions. Ningshu listened for a while and was completely dumbfounded. There was no need to talk about the others. Only the two of them were high. It was as if they were good friends despite the difference in age. Xiao Qiao was slowly learning the interstellar language and could basically understand it. However, when she heard the conversation between the two of them, she wanted to reach out her vines and whip them to death. But occasionally, Ningshu could still understand some of the topics. For example, using powerful strength to break the space barrier and enter other worlds. They had already confirmed that this world was not only this world. There were other worlds and even more vast worlds. With their technology, they could occupy many worlds. Ningshu's scalp tingled. Using violence and powerful strength to break the space barrier. It was not that the space could not be broken. Once it exceeded the capacity of the space, it would shatter like glass. Chapter 1287. Omega's technology was the most powerful and cutting-edge in this galaxy. In this vast galaxy, some planets were still ignorant and undeveloped. Some planets were already like Omega, with advanced civilizations, or even super civilizations. These people were still not satisfied. The galaxy could no longer trap them. They wanted to break the barrier, enter another world, and invade another world. Damn it, if the barrier of the plane was broken, if the plane could not repair itself, the entire plane might have problems. Ningshu stared straight at the two people who were chatting passionately. Not only would this harm one plane, but other planes that were close to this plane would also be affected. If this plane was affected, the next plane would be in trouble. It was like pushing a Nomi bone, which would cause a series of collapses, forming a chain reaction. The plane nurtured all things, and humans were the leader of all things. They were loved by fate, but they were the ones who wantonly harmed the plane. Humans' love, hatred, resentment, and hatred eroded the plane. Now they wanted to break the plane directly. They wanted to use the power they had researched to break the plane that protected them. Ningshu interrupted. "What if it's broken? What happens after it's broken?" Arvez looked at Ningshu with some surprise. She usually did not listen to his conversation with Jeffrey. Have you ever thought about what would happen if the barrier is broken and the entire world is broken? Ningxu asked. This plane was very big, and there were many planets. If something went wrong, all the planets would be unprotected, and everyone would be doomed. It was unknown just how many living beings there were. Even if the plane did not explode, there would be cracks, and the cracks would get bigger and bigger. It won't, Jeffrey said. Ningxu rolled his eyes. If you say it won't, then it won't. If the barrier doesn't work, why else would it exist? Without the barrier, we can still pass through each other. How interesting. Sister, don't talk to Mr. Jeffrey like that, Arve said. Ningxu shrugged. I'm just saying. You guys go on. Ningxu turned and went out. Xiao Chao followed behind Ningxu and asked, Are you unhappy? Xiao Chao, I've worked hard to do all this to keep myself alive, to eliminate resentment, and to repair the plane. My existence is to patch things up, or to catch the parasites and blood-sucking worms that have latched onto the world. Xiao Chao listened attentively and said, Their behavior makes you uncomfortable. They're spinning a cocoon around themselves. They think they have the ability and want to rob more. In the end, they'll harm others and themselves, Ningxu said. Ningxu thought again, if the world he built, if the technology inside had developed to the point where it could threaten the world, she would definitely erase these things. Anything that threatened the world, Ningxu would destroy. After seeing all this, Ningxu had a new understanding of the world she had constructed. How to protect the world. Xiao Chao, Ningxu said, so you've suffered so much. It's not hard. Just like how you trained hard to become strong. I'm doing all these things to strengthen myself, Ningxu said. He had the powerful ability to crush worldly forces. He had the firm belief to always believe in his idea. He had a healthy body that was immune to poison. Xiao Chao held Ningxu's hand. It'll get better in the future. Xiao Chao was barefoot, and the bell on her ankle jingled. You're not angry anymore? Ningxu looked at Xiao Chao. Xiao Chao rolled her eyes and shook off Ningxu's hand. I'm angry. Xiao Chao walked in front. Her porcelain white feet stepped on the ground, and the bell on her ankle jingled as she walked. Ningxu walked behind her with his hands behind his back and looked at her. She was such a cute child. Ningxu went to take another mission. When he came back, he saw many spaceships floating above his house. And there were people surrounding the house. Could it be that Master Alvius's enemy had found them? This was quite a big scene. When they saw Ningxu, many people surrounded Ningxu and Xiao Chao with guns. Ningxu entered the house and asked Alvius, What's wrong? Leave quickly, Alvius said anxiously to Ningxu. Why did he let her go? Wasn't he here to catch Jeffrey? The spaceship hijacking has been exposed, Alvius said softly. Ningxu, huh? How were we discovered? Ningxu asked in surprise. They said that the spaceship was from planet Omega. They said that it was a spaceship that was searching for energy sources everywhere, but it was hijacked. They've found us now, Alvius said. Planet Omega's spaceship. In other words, Planet Omega was looking for people with strong mental strength. No wonder they were discovered when they came to someone else's house to sell stolen goods. Ningxu couldn't express his feelings. There were spaceships and armed forces outside. How should they go? What about you? Ningxu asked. Are you involved? Mr. Jeffrey said that I'm his student, so I'm fine for now, Alvius said. Ningxu nodded. It was good to have one less person involved in this matter. Sister, don't resist. If you resist, we'll deal with it on the spot. I'll find a way to save you, Alvius said. Ningxu nodded. Protect yourself. Ningxu was held at gunpoint and escorted onto the spaceship. Xiao Chao followed behind Ningxu and was escorted onto the spaceship. As soon as they entered the spaceship, Ningxu was locked in a cage. Xiao Chao leaned on Ningxu. What do we do now? Ningxu touched the cage. It was electrified. He instantly felt his scalp tingle. Did you kill the mecha operator on the spaceship? A man in a military uniform with several military badges on his chest walked to the cage. Ningxu shook his head. It wasn't me. Then who was it? Your brother? The man in the military uniform asked. Even if Dr. Jeffrey said that your brother is his student, We can still investigate your relationship with him. Ningxu remained silent. Ningxu was brought to a sealed space. This space was very small and could only fit 1 or 2 people. Ningxu smashed the surrounding walls. He did not know what material they were made of. With Ningxu's current strength, he could not even make a dent in the wall. There was no trace at all. Xiao Chao sat on the ground and watched Ningxu struggle. She asked, "Aren't they going to give us nutrient fluids?" "It's not like they invited us here for a meal," Ningxu said. "We have to think of a way. Fuck, I'm going to be robbed of my spiritual power like Eliza." Oh, the people from Planet Mega's military did not capture anyone else because the others did not have spiritual power. She did. Her brother was protected by Jeffrey, so she might be facing the same situation as Eliza. She might be robbed of her spiritual power. The door opened with a click. 2 people came in and escorted Ningxu out. Chapter 1288. Ningxu was taken to a room. "Sister." Arvez shouted at Ningxu through the glass. Ningxu sat across from Arvez. For some reason, Ningxu felt like he was visiting a prisoner. What on earth had she done wrong? Arvez said, "Sister, don't worry, I will save you." Ningxu said calmly, "I don't think there's much hope. Can you help me make a mech?" This matter was delayed again and again. He didn't know what he needed to do to become a mech pilot. His fate was full of misfortune. "The mech isn't important now. Let's get out of here first," Arvez said with a frown. Ningxu knew very well that the hope of getting out was not high, even with Jeffrey. Jeffrey could only protect Arvez at most, and it was because Arvez had no spiritual power. The military gave Jeffrey face. "Help me make a mech," Ningxu said. "Okay." Arvez said helplessly, "I didn't expect the spaceship to be from Omega." "If that's the case, we won't come to Omega. The people above Omega must have some plan. I didn't have access to the confidential documents above in my previous life, so I don't know the specifics," Arvez said. Ningxu said, "I'll think of a way. You have to protect yourself first." Because it was time to talk, Ningxu couldn't talk to Arvez anymore, and was taken back to the confinement room. "I thought you weren't coming back," Xiao Chao said. Ningxu sat on the ground and leaned against Xiao Chao. He leaned close to Xiao Cao's ear and whispered, "Why don't we do something big?" "What's big?" Xiao Cao's eyes lit up. "How about destroying a super civilization?" Ningxu said. Xiao Chao shook her head. "Their weapons are too powerful. Since you were able to come here through the dimensional rift, there must be a problem with the plane you originally lived in. Generally speaking, a world shouldn't have such a rift. If they can really invade other worlds, the plane you originally lived in will also be invaded. Do you think the flesh and blood of a summoner and a summoned beast can withstand such powerful weapons?" Ningxu's expression froze. "If you can escape, then leave quickly. You shouldn't have followed me here." Ningxu stretched out his finger and poked Xiao Cao's fair and tender face. Xiao Chao sighed like an old man. "What should we do now? Why didn't you give him some nutrient solution? Even if you want him to die, you should at least give him a meal." They were clearly discussing a very serious matter, so there was no need to keep thinking about the nutrient solution. The confinement room was as bright as day. It was unknown how long they had been in there. "Give me a definite answer if you want to die or live." Xiao Chao leaned against Ningxu's body and fell into a deep sleep. With a click, the door opened. Ningxu gave Xiao Chao a push. Xiao Chao opened her eyes groggily and stood up. Ningxu and Xiao Cao's eyes were covered. They didn't know where they were being brought to. Ningxu didn't resist. He wanted to see where they were taking him. They didn't know how long they had been walking before they finally stopped. The black cloth covering their eyes was also removed. Ningxu used his hand to block the strong light. He realized that he was standing in front of a huge object. This object looked like a building. It was squarish. Xiao Chao asked, "What the hell is this?" "Who should I ask?" Ningxu looked around and saw that many people were being escorted here. It seemed that the people of Planet Omega were really looking for people with strong spiritual power, all over the galaxy. What was the use of depriving them of their spiritual power? Ningxu looked at the bulky and huge thing in front of him. This thing couldn't be Planet Omega's artificial intelligence, right? "Go in." Ningxu was pushed by someone and walked into the strange building. As soon as he walked in, Ningxu felt that he had come to an extreme sci-fi scene. There were all kinds of novel things inside. Many researchers were coming and going. Take them to the other side, a man in a white coat said. Ningxu looked around. What kind of place was this? If this was the most important thing on planet Omega, would it cause chaos if this thing was destroyed? Would they be able to escape? Go in. A soldier pushed a person into a door. It was a bit like an inspection cabin door. After a while, Ningxu heard an extremely painful roar coming from inside. The roar was getting weaker and weaker. When the door was opened, the man was bleeding from all 7 orifices. His face was extremely distorted. His chest was rising and falling slightly. It seemed that he was breathing more than he was exhaling. He didn't have long to live. Was this what it meant to be deprived of one's spiritual power? The man's miserable condition caused a commotion. The people who were brought here were very scared. They wanted to escape, which caused a commotion. However, the doors were all closed. This was a sealed space. There were many guards around. Anyone who wanted to escape was thrown in first. Painful screams and moans came one after another. Just like that, the spiritual power was violently deprived. It felt like a hammer was smashing an egg. Not many people were lucky enough to escape. It was simply purgatory on earth. Ningxu's face was a little pale. Xiao Qiao hid behind Ningxu and pulled the corner of Ningxu's clothes. What are they trying to do? I don't know. It must be for some purpose. Where was the deprived spiritual power sent to? Ningxu looked around. Ningxu said to Xiao Qiao, maybe planet Omega's artificial intelligence is alive. Impossible. I don't feel any signs of life. Xiao Qiao immediately shook her head and said, maybe it's another form of life. Ningxu shrugged. It was like a ghost. Although it didn't have a body, it was still a form of life. Ningxu had just observed it. Some of the equipment was very old, and this huge artificial intelligence didn't seem to have existed for long. As for how long, Ningxu didn't know. For a plane to become a high-level plane, it took a very, very long time. Maybe this artificial intelligence was something left behind by the previous super-civilization. The previous civilization was destroyed, and some of the things left behind were picked up by planet Omega. Omega's technology was at the forefront of the entire galaxy. Many breakthroughs in science came from planet Omega. What are you talking about? Go in. Ningxu was pushed, and he was pushed in. Ningxu turned to look at the person who pushed him and said expressionlessly, who are you pushing? Why are you touching me? The person who pushed Ningxu was stunned. He had never seen someone so capable. He was about to die, but he was still so capable. Haha. The other person sneered. What are you laughing at? You're so weird. Xiao Qiao, slap him. Ningxu said to Xiao Qiao. Okay. Xiao Qiao immediately reached out, jumped up and slapped the man's face. Chapter 1289. Ningxu? Use your hands? Whatever. Use vines or use your hands. What are you doing? Stop. Xiao Qiao instantly turned into a huge vine, and the door opened with a huge force. Countless vines surrounded the surroundings. The vines seemed to want to entangle the entire artificial intelligence system. The artificial intelligence system sounded an urgent alarm. The vines were still entangled, and beautiful flowers bloomed on the vines. Pollen fluttered in the air, and everything that was touched by the pollen was planted with spores, and grass grew on them. I'm going to destroy the artificial intelligence system and the information, Ningxu said to Xiao Qiao. If you really succeed, Xiao Qiao, you will have merit, and your cultivation path will be smoother in the future. Ningxu picked up the gun on the ground, and prepared to find the artificial intelligence system center. The vines continued to extend, and the artificial intelligence system was tightly entangled by the vines from the inside out. Ningxu shuttled through the artificial intelligence building full of vines. Ningxu didn't know where the artificial intelligence system's main body was. Because something happened to the artificial intelligence system, planet Omega fell into an abnormal situation. The spaceships in the sky collided with each other, and the interstellar network was chaotic. All the robots were in a state of paralysis. Countless spaceships faced the artificial intelligence system, and the chief in the spaceship slammed the table angrily. Why did the demonic vine come to this place? The people in military uniforms lowered their heads in silence. Why don't we attack? One of them said carefully. Attack my ass, that's the foundation of Planet Omega. The artificial intelligence system is still there, and there are so many researchers inside. Planet Omega can't afford to lose them. The chief slapped him in the face. Chief, we've already gone to save them, the man who was slapped in the ear said pitifully. Didn't we already ask the Interstellar Hunter Alliance to eliminate the demonic vine? Now that the demonic vine has come here, who can explain it to me? Everyone present lowered their heads, and no one knew that the demonic vine would come here. Go in and find the chip, the artificial intelligence chip. The chief took a deep breath. Forget about invading other planets. It was very likely that Planet Omega's technology would stop advancing. Soon, many people entered the artificial intelligence system, but they were all entangled by the vines. Although he had powerful weapons in his hands, even if the vines were annihilated, there would be new ones coming out. The vines shrank with all their might, and the entire AI building creaked and shook, as if it was groaning in pain. It was simply a disaster. Attack the vines in a small area, the bureau chief ordered. Ning Shu was holding a gun, and wearing a soldier's uniform. No matter what he saw, he destroyed everything. Some of the important research materials were destroyed by Ning Shu. When the weak humans had the power to kill the gods, they had nothing to fear. No one could stop them from attacking. Mr. Jeffrey. Ning Shu met an acquaintance. Mr. Jeffrey was carrying a black suitcase. He didn't expect to meet Alvius's teacher here. Jeffrey was a little surprised. Let's take advantage of the chaos and leave. Ning Shu stared at the black box in Jeffrey's hand and asked with a smile. Mr. Jeffrey, what is that in your hand? Jeffrey said casually. It's just some of my research results. Ning Shu approached Jeffrey. Jeffrey took 2 steps back and put the suitcase behind him. Ning Shu was very fast and snatched Jeffrey's suitcase. Give me back my suitcase, Jeffrey said hurriedly. Ning Shu ran away with the suitcase. Jeffrey quickly chased after Ning Shu. There were vines everywhere. Some of the vines were as thick as a person's body. They were entangled everywhere, making it difficult for people to move. Ning Shu, on the other hand, was very relaxed. He jumped over all kinds of vines and disappeared in a flash. Ning Shu stopped and found that he couldn't open the suitcase at all. Ning Shu shot with the laser gun. She was going to destroy it anyway. It didn't matter if the thing was broken. Under the ravages of the light, the suitcase opened. Inside was a black square. It was pitch black. He didn't know what it was. The cube wasn't big. It was only the size of a Rubik's cube, but it was a little heavy. Ning Shu looked around and couldn't find a place to open it. It felt like the Rubik's cube was a whole piece. Ning Shu curled his lips. He put it on the ground and shot it with the laser gun, but there was no reaction. What the hell was this? There was nothing in this world that couldn't be destroyed. It just hadn't reached the critical point. Seeing the laser gun's light, he couldn't do anything about it. Give this to me. 2333's voice suddenly appeared in Ning Shu's mind. Aren't you sleeping? You're awake? Ning Shu asked. What you have in your hand is an intelligent life made by humans. It's still asleep and hasn't woken up. 2333 explained. This thing should be the condensation of all the knowledge and technology of the previous super civilization. These people need psychic power. They probably want to awaken the intelligent life. Ning Shu suddenly felt that his hand was heavy. Such a small thing could hold so many things. Life. Technology created life. What do you want to do with this? Ning Shu asked. It was better to destroy this thing. If it didn't wake up, the people of Planet Omega could use the knowledge carried by the intelligent life to conquer other planes. I'll keep it for you. Maybe it'll be useful in the future. 2333 said, this kind of intelligent life has powerful operating functions. If it wakes up, its computing power is indescribable. You're not thinking of devouring this, are you? Ning Shu asked with some suspicion. No, I don't have any thoughts about it. With your current ability, you can't do anything about it. Of course, I can't do anything about it either. Okay. The black cube in Ningshu's hand disappeared. How did the previous super civilization disappear? Ningshu asked. Once something develops to the point of threatening the plane and crosses the boundary, the people above will wipe it out. If it crosses the boundary again, it will be wiped out again. The cycle repeats. Ningshu was speechless. He felt an inexplicable sympathy. It was like harvesting leeks. As soon as they grew, they were cut off again. Don't underestimate the research ability of humans and their tireless spirit. Even more so, don't underestimate the ambition of humans, 2333 said. Humans did not have strong bodies. They only had soft skin and easily broken internal organs. A little injury could cause them to lose their lives. However, they had become the masters of the plane. They had the power to kill gods. The intelligent brain building started to shake. Ningshu found Xiao Qiao. Let's run. As soon as Xiao Qiao exerted her strength, the entire building collapsed with a loud crash. Ningshu held Xiao Qiao's hand and ran with all his might. Quickly go in and find the thing. We must find it. When the bureau chief saw the intelligent brain building collapse, his face turned green with anger. The entire planet Miga was in chaos. The magnetic field was chaotic. The robots were either paralyzed or rioting. Their programming was in chaos. Ningshu ran to his house. Eliza, Eliza! Machi waved his hand and shouted at Ningshu. Ningshu quickly ran over. Chapter 1290. Ningshu looked at March. It seemed like he was waiting for him. March said, "Let's go first. Arvez is waiting for us." March led the way to the black market. "We're here." March pointed at the spaceship. Arvez sat in a wheelchair. Ningshu was a little touched. He held Xiaocao's hand and boarded the spaceship. Arvez piloted the spaceship and left the chaotic planet Omega. Ningshu sat on the ground and hammered his weak legs. He saw Xiaocao's pale face and sweaty face. Her hair was wet and stuck to her face. Ningshu brushed the hair on her face. "Thank you." "Don't thank me. I did it for myself." Xiaoqiao leaned against Ningshu. Ningshu asked Arvez, "Is there any nutrient solution?" Arvez asked Vivian to get 2 tubes of nutrient solution. Ningshu gave the nutrient solution to Xiaoqiao. Xiaoqiao fell asleep leaning against Ningshu after drinking it. Ningshu looked at Arvez. "Why do you want to leave this place?" When the chaos broke out, Arvez made a prompt decision to leave planet Omega. Vivian said. Arvez frowned. "Mr. Jeffrey seems to know why we need to capture people with psychic power. Jeffrey said that planet Omega will usher in a new era. These people were there to revive the intelligent life. When the intelligent life woke up, planet Omega's technological power would increase exponentially." "Why do you want to leave Omega?" Ningshu asked. "I don't know how long this chaos will last. It's better to leave. We don't have enough power to deal with such chaos." Arvez said. Mr. Jeffrey could protect him for a while, but he couldn't protect him forever. Ningshu didn't tell Arvez that she stole the intelligent life from his teacher. "It's good to leave. Our identities aren't suitable for living in Omega. The regional discrimination is too serious," Ningshu said. "We don't know how long it will take for us to settle down." Alvius sighed. Ningshu said, "I think we should find a planet a little further away from Omega to live." "Yes." Arvs nodded and looked at the group of people following him. "I've implicated all of you to follow me everywhere." Vivian's brother, Owen, shook his head. "I was supposed to die in the garbage dump, but now I can eat my fill and drink the nutrient solution. It's enough." Ningshu looked at Arvez. "But the girl you like? She's Mr. Jeffrey's daughter, but she doesn't like me," Alves said. Ningshu comforted Arvez. "My poor brother, what a sin." Arvez was speechless. "I can't give her the life she wants and my legs." Alves touched his legs. Living was a difficult thing, and love was a luxury. "It's okay, brother. You'll meet a woman who loves and tolerates you. Trust me." Ningshu patted his chest and said. Arvez's blue eyes shone. "Maybe let's leave it to fate." Arvez, who had lived for 2 lifetimes, was more open-minded. He probably had a crush on someone in his previous life, but it didn't work out. In this life, he had a sister to take care of and a group of friends to rely on. So he took it lightly. Ningxu felt that people who had been reborn should be like this. They should avoid some mistakes and work hard to live a better life. Only then would they not be treated well by God. Arvez prepared a lot of food and fuel on the spaceship. It was not like the last time, where he was worried about not having enough energy. As for how the spaceship came about, it was said that it was snatched when Omega was in chaos. No one knew how it was snatched. Ningxu and Xiaoqiao slept for a long time because they were too tired. When Ningxu woke up, he felt much better. Xiaocao's face was glowing. Seeing that Ningxu had woken up, she said, "I feel stronger than before. I feel like I've entered a new realm. My body is also much lighter." "That's a good thing," Ningxu said. Xiaoqiao gave Ningxu a tube of nutrient solution and drank it with a straw. "Where are we going next?" Xiaoqiao asked. "I'm not building it. Let's leave it to fate." Ningxu shrugged. Mecha. Why was her destiny to become a mecha pilot so bumpy? Ningxu asked Arvez, "Is my mecha done?" Arvez was speechless. "Where's the metal and money? A mecha can't be completed in a day. We can't earn the money for a piece of metal in our lifetime. Why are you so persistent?" Arvez was speechless. Ningxu said weakly, "You don't know my determination. Mecha is a little out of our reach. Sister, it's okay not to become a mecha pilot." "No, it's your sister who wants to become a mecha pilot." "Sister, I plan to find a more remote planet. It's undeveloped. It's fine as long as it's habitable," Arvez said. There were countless planets in the galaxy. Not every planet was recorded. Some planets were suitable for habitation while others were not. Ningxu thought, "No, I don't want to living on a remote planet. Mecha would be an unattainable dream. No, I don't want to. My mission." What if Eliza was a stubborn girl and judged that she had failed the mission? Arvez saw Ningxu's hopeless expression and asked, "Is it that hard to accept? Instead of living on a planet like Omega, it's better to find a remote planet that belongs to us," Arvez said. Ningxu nodded. "You're right. I'll listen to you. You're willing to leave the girl you like. I have no objections. She doesn't care about me at all. It's the same to her whether I'm there or not. I'll just disturb her if I'm by her side," Arvez said calmly. Ningxu slapped his mouth. "I'm sorry. I always say things that make you sad." Ningxu put down his mecha dream. He could not ignore the lives of so many people because of himself. The spaceship flew in the vast universe. Every time they encountered a planet, Arvez would check if the planet was suitable for habitation. Anyway, they did not know how far away they were from Omega. The chaos on Omega was no longer their problem. After losing such an important thing, the people on Omega were probably busy looking for it. The days on the spaceship were the most peaceful. Ningxu was relaxed. When he had nothing to do, he would braid Xiaocao's hair. He grabbed Xiaocao's hair. Xiaoqiao grimaced in pain, and did not let Ningxu play with her hair. Ningxu liked Vivian's wine-red hair, and went to do Vivian's hair. As a result, Xiaoqiao and Vivian did not want to see Ningxu. Ningxu would style himself the next day, and show them what fashion was. Chapter 1291. Arvez found a planet with forests, water and air. After the spaceship scan, the planet was suitable for living and the soil was suitable for planting. Arvez chose this planet. When Ningxu heard about planting, she did not feel too good. Was she going to plant again? She was going to become a mech pilot. Other people could produce princes and princesses from farming, but she was really farming, and receiving a bad review. Arvez landed the spaceship slowly on the planet. There were no traces of technology on this planet. Everything was in a primitive state with dense vegetation. Arvez pushed the wheelchair out of the spaceship and looked around. This will be where we live in the future. Actually, the spaceship doesn't have much energy left. It will be difficult to find other planets. I think it's good here, Vivian said. The others nodded. At least there was a lot of clean water. People from Selder had very low standards. It was fine as long as there was water and food. It's better here than Planet Omega, March said. It was more comfortable here than Planet Omega. Well, we'll settle down on this planet. There are seeds on the spaceship, Arvez said. There are tools like knives and saws. It seemed that Arvez had already planned this. Ningxu said, there's no way to make spaceships and mechas here. Your career and work. I was doing this until I died in my previous life. Let's do it in this life, Arvez said. And I realized that you have an accident constitution. Something will always happen when I'm with you. Ningxu laughed, showing her teeth. Arvez's blue eyes twinkled and she laughed with Ningxu. Ningxu took a deep breath. The air was very fresh. We're going to build a house now. Ningxu carried the axe and went to chop trees. Everyone had something to do. Arvez sat in the wheelchair and read. Under the shade of the trees, light and shadow were modeled. After everyone's work, they managed to build a place that could shelter them from the wind and rain. Of course, the spaceship could also accommodate people. Ningxu did not let Arvez live in a house because Arvez could not move freely. What if some wild beast came out? There was not much nutrient solution on the spaceship. Everyone could only look for food in the jungle. With the spaceship's analysis, as long as the fruit was not poisonous, everything could be eaten. However, Xiaoqiao was robbed. Xiaocao's nutrient solution was snatched by a child who was about the same age as her. Xiaoqiao was stunned for a moment when she was suddenly robbed. Then she became furious. There wasn't much nutrient solution left, so Xiaoqiao drank it sparingly. Nutrient solution was more nutritious than ordinary things. Xiaoqiao used to dislike it, but now she only drank this. Xiaoqiao didn't even think before she violently beat the other party up. She beat the other party so badly that the other party cried loudly. The crying of the child attracted the attention of the people in the jungle. These savages were no match for Xiaoqiao, but Xiaoqiao remembered Ningxu's words and didn't reveal her vines. These savages did not wear any clothes. Their bodies were covered by large leaves, and their faces were painted with mottled colors. These people looked at Xiaoqiao and pointed at her from time to time as they chattered. Xiaoqiao fiercely snatched the nutrient solution from the child's hand and found that the nutrient solution had been secretly drunk by the child. She pointed at the child and said, "Just you wait." Xiaoqiao turned around and complained to Ningxu and Arvez. When Ningxu heard this, he said to Arvez, "Living in harmony with the natives is a problem." When Ningxu stepped onto this planet, he found that someone was watching them. They were careful and didn't dare to get close. Arvez closed the book, raised his head and said, "They are still afraid of us and don't dare to attack us. After a while, it's hard to say. We can try to communicate with them. If necessary, we have to show them a strong hand," Arvez said. Ningxu felt that someone was spying on them. Their eyes were filled with confusion and fear. Ningxu glanced at Xiaoqiao and said, "How did it get robbed? How useless." That little brat suddenly appeared. "I didn't notice," Xiaoqiao said. Arvez heard Xiaoqiao calling the other party a little brat. She was a little girl, but she still called the other party a little brat. In the future, don't go out with the nutrient solution for no reason. Why haven't we been robbed? Ningxu patted Xiaocao's head and said, "He must have seen you drink it, so he robbed you." Xiaoqiao pouted. Ningxu carried the hoe and went to open up the wasteland. Arvez only meant to plant enough food. There was no need to open up the wasteland and destroy the environment. Arvez said to let the future generations reproduce on this planet. Ningxu also thought so. If the strides were too big, the planet would be under a lot of pressure. Every day, they lived a life of working at sunrise and resting at sunset. They were also spied on. After a long time, these natives knew that these people wouldn't hurt them and became bolder. At the same time, they were very curious about what Ningxu and the others were doing. Some people had crooked thoughts and wanted to rob them. Arvez took a gun and fired at a tree. The huge tree fell with a creak. Instantly, these natives were scared out of their wits and only dared to watch from afar. Ningxu and a group of people planted the seeds. As the crops weren't mature yet, they ate very sparingly. They usually looked for wild fruits. If there were wild animals, they would eat some meat. Arvez would occasionally make some simple tools in the spaceship's laboratory. It was too easy for someone who could make spaceships to pretend to be simple tools. And Xiaoqiao had an extra follower. It was the child who stole her nutrient solution last time. This child was trying to please Xiao Qiao. Every time Xiao Qiao tried to chase him away, she couldn't. From time to time, he would give Xiao Qiao a wild fruit, wild egg, or even wildflowers. Xiao Qiao accepted the gift without hesitation, but she still ignored him. Basically, Xiao Qiao came home every day with something in her hands. Ning Shu said, "You should return some gifts." That child was probably instructed by the adults. "Then what should I give him?" Xiao Qiao said, "I haven't settled the score with him for stealing my nutrient solution last time." "Be more generous. You've lived for a few hundred years. Why are you being so calculative with a child?" "I'm also a child. A few hundred years old and still a child? I used to be a little taller than I am now." After I left, you didn't grow much. Isn't there a lot of spiritual energy in the icy jade lake? Didn't you absorb it?" Ning Shu asked. There was a spiritual vein under the icy jade lake, and the spiritual energy was very abundant. "I absorbed it, but I didn't grow," Xiao Qiao said gloomily. "You must have reached a bottleneck. After the lightning tribulation last time, you didn't undergo another tribulation?" "Another tribulation?" Xiao Qiao asked. This should be," Ning Shu said uncertainly. "People also have all kinds of tribulations in their cultivation. You should be the same." "Oh." Xiao Cao's expression showed that she didn't understand. The next day, Xiao Qiao gave the child a hairband to tie his hair. Chapter 1292. Xiao Qiao looked at his messy hair, which was dirty and long, and gave him a hairband that she didn't want. The child was very happy to receive Xiao Cao's gift, and said something that Xiao Qiao couldn't understand. The child took the hairband and put it in his mouth, thinking that Xiao Qiao gave it to him to eat. Xiao Qiao was speechless. Xiao Qiao rolled her eyes and took the hairband. She messed up the child's hair, and tied it up with the hairband. The child stroked his hair with a surprised expression on his face. He mumbled to Xiao Qiao for a while before he turned around and disappeared into the forest. From then on, the child always used all kinds of things to exchange with Xiao Qiao. Xiao Qiao gave him things that she didn't want. Gradually, the two sides started to interact and exchange things. The two sides temporarily lived in harmony, and were still trying to figure out each other's bottom line. It was the harvest season for the wheat. The wheat field was glistening yellow and emitted the smell of ripe wheat. Ning Shu and Vivian were busy collecting the wheat. They used the most primitive method, shedding the wheat in handfuls. These aboriginals saw something magical and thought of ways to gather some things to exchange for wheat with Ning Shu and the others. Arvez gave them a bag. As for the things that the natives gave, Arvez didn't like any of them, but he took them. Even if they weren't worth much, he still wanted to exchange them. Otherwise, these people would get used to free things in the future. When it was time to plant wheat, these people learned from Ning Shu. Gradually, they took root on this planet and adapted to life on this planet. Ning Shu looked at the hoe and looked into the distance. He looked at the endless mountains and forests. Damn, what about her dream of being a mecha pilot? She couldn't become a mecha pilot if she stayed here. Mission completed. Do you want to leave the mission world? 2333's voice sounded. Ning Shu said, "I want to ask you for a favor. Send Xiao Qiao back to her original world. She has no spiritual energy in this world. Sooner or later, she will use up all the spiritual energy in her body," Ning Shu said. "I don't have any energy," 2333 said. Ning Shu was speechless. "What are your conditions? You're so annoying. Why did we even talk about conditions before? I'll help you," 2333 said. Ning Shu. "Holy shit. Lolo was possessed? Why are you being so coquettish?" Ning Shu could no longer control the goosebumps all over his body. He couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart. "Speak properly. Did you become a sissy after devouring the push-down system?" Ning Shu asked. Ning Shu waved at Xiao Qiao, who was not far away. Xiao Qiao walked over to Ning Shu with her hands behind her back. Ning Shu said to Xiao Qiao, "I'm leaving." Xiao Qiao squinted at Ning Shu. "Are you going to run away again?" "The time I can stay in each world is limited. When the time is up, I will leave. I will send you back to your previous world. This world has too little spiritual energy. You won't be able to endure it," Ning Shu said. Xiao Qiao said. Then take me with you. Ning Shu shook his head. I'm a person who can't be sure of my life. Even if I take you with me, I won't be with you for a lot of time. What will you do? There are thousands of worlds. Cultivate well. In the future, you will be able to enter other worlds and see a lot. It's not good for you to follow me, Ning Shu said. Ning Shu couldn't care less about Xiao Qiao. Why should he let Xiao Qiao follow him and imprison her? Also, he couldn't take Xiao Qiao with him on a mission. If he wasn't careful, he and Xiao Qiao would die. Xiao Qiao nodded. I understand. In the future, don't jump into any cracks. If we encounter a space storm, don't think about surviving, Ning Shu said. Xiao Qiao pulled Ning Shu's sleeve. Then when can we meet? If it's fated, we will naturally meet. When you become strong and can break through the restrictions of the world, you will see a lot of new things in the future. Ning Shu patted Xiao Cao's head. The path of cultivation is extremely difficult. Don't kill easily, but don't let others bully you. Otherwise, what's the point of cultivating so hard? Xiao Qiao worked hard to climb up so that she could control her own destiny and not let others trample on her and humiliate her. Xiao Qiao nodded and leaned against Ning Shu. 2333. Help send her back to the summoner's world that she used to stay in, Ning Shu said. Xiao Cao's figure disappeared. Ning Shu took the hoe and continued to weed. The weeds were tenacious. With Xiao Cao's strength, ordinary people couldn't do anything to her. After a while, 2333's voice sounded in Ning Shu's mind. I've sent her back. Do you want to leave the mission world now? Ning Shu sighed and nodded. Let's go. There was another mission that had not been completed. No, there were two. The other mission was to make Arves stand up. Damn, he almost forgot about that. Ning Shu ran home with the hoe and said to Arves, who was reading, Brother, do you want to stand up? Arves closed the book. Why are you suddenly talking about this? I'm used to being in a wheelchair. It doesn't matter if I can't stand up. You can get yourself 2 legs, Ning Shu said. Arves said, maybe on planet Omega I'll get a pair of fake legs. Here no one cares about my legs. It doesn't matter if I stay in a wheelchair. Ning Shu couldn't help but ask, is it good to pee in a wheelchair? Arves, is it good to go to the toilet? Ning Shu said. She had never worried about Arves' excretion. Arves. It's okay, Arves said. If you have the conditions, get yourself a pair of legs, Ning Shu said. Ning Shu thought for a moment and asked Arves to make silver needles for her. They were very thin needles. Arves made silver needles for Ning Shu on the spaceship. Ning Shu lifted Arves' leg and slowly inserted the silver needles into the acupuncture points on Arves' leg. Ning Shu asked Arves, do you feel anything? Arves shook her head. No. Ning Shu. I'll find time to make fake legs myself. You don't have to prick here and there. It's useless, Arves said. I saw on the internet that this is an ancient medical skill, Ning Shu said. Arves opened the book and let Ning Shu insert the needles into her leg. Her expression was normal. Ning Shu looked at her and knew that Arves' leg really did not feel anything. This was really. Then, when are you going to get yourself a pair of legs? Ning Shu asked. Arves flipped through the book and said indifferently, we'll talk about it when there's time. You only know how to read porn books all day. Don't you know how to do your own leg? Ning Shu rolled his eyes. Arves asked without looking up. What's a porn book? Well, it's a beautiful fairy tale. Arves said. Oh. Ning Shu returned to his room, lay on the bed and said, let's go. Ning Shu felt dizzy and returned to the system space. Chapter 1293. Ning Shu opened his eyes and saw that the space system had been repaired. There were no longer as many cracks as before. The black hole from the pearl was still there, but it had become smaller. The fusion would be completed soon. It seemed that pushing down the system had given 2333 a lot of energy. Ning Shu praised 2333. Not bad, it's done so quickly. 2333 just grunted. Ning Shu sat cross-legged on the ground and began to absorb the soul power. When he woke up, Ning Shu touched his soul. It had become like jelly. In the past, the wind could blow it away, but now it had turned from gas to solid. so it would not dissipate so easily. Ningxu opened the stats panel. Because of the energy, the stats panel was not as transparent as before. Number: 2333. Name: Ningxu, Advanced Mission Taker. Age: 27 points, 67 million soul, 340 health points, 131 wisdom, 384 charm, 50 luck, 249 mental power, 280 faith, 22515 physical strength, 412 aptitude, 159 merit, 13870 skills. 5th ring shooting technique, intermediate combat technique, exceptional martial arts, intermediate poison technique, beginner business management knowledge, beginner code programming, beginner lawyer skills, beginner ghost catching skills. Honorary titles: Goddess of War, Selfless. Ancestor items: Calm Halo, Calming Pill, Faith Halo, Amulet 4, Upgraded Amulet 2 Halo, Mother of the World, Queen's Blessing, Sister Model Worker, Chunxi's Blessing, Leader Halo, Grass Blessing, Best Friend for a Lifetime, Meow Meow Meow's Blessing, Life-Saving Hand, Zhu Sisuniang's Blessing, Founding Female General, Chen Ermiai's Blessing, Beauty in Law, Chen Ning's Blessing, Cross-Race Communication, by San Yang's Blessing. Note: can only communicate within a certain range of intelligence. Eliza's wish: leave planet Selder and let her brother stand up and live to become a mecha pilot. Mission completion 80. Reward: 5 million points, 50 attribute points, 2,000 faith and 3,000 merit points. Ningxu looked and felt that the reward this time was not bad. He had received 3,000 merit points. He didn't know how much merit Xiaoqiao had obtained. After all, it was all thanks to her efforts. He hoped that Xiaocao's strength would increase. Ningxu tapped on the attribute panel and distributed the attribute points. Age: 27 points, 670, 000/5000/000 soul value, 340 HP, 131 wisdom, 38410 charm, 50 luck, 24910 spiritual power, 28010 faith, 225152000 combat power, for 1210 potential, 15910 merit, 138703000 skills. 5th ring shooting technique, intermediate combat technique, exceptional martial arts proficiency, intermediate poison technique, beginner business management knowledge, beginner code programming, beginner lawyer skills, beginner ghost catching skills. Honorary titles: Goddess of War, Selfless. Ancestor items: Calm Aura, Calming Pill, Faith Aura, Amulet 4, Upgraded Amulet 2. Aura: Mother of the World, Queen's Blessing, Sister Model Worker, Chunxi's Blessing, Leader Aura, Grass Blessing, Best Friend for a Lifetime, Meow Meow Meow's Blessing, Life-Saving Hand, Zhu Sisuniang's Blessing, Founding Female General, Chen Ermiai's Blessing, Lawful Beauty, Chen Ning's Blessing, Transcending Race Communication, by San Yang's Blessing. Ningxu looked at the attribute panel. Her faith was increasing. Perhaps she would soon meet the requirements for a super mission. Ningxu saw a black Rubik's Cube on the bookshelf. This was the intelligent life. It felt really magical. It was as if the computer and phone he used had a life of its own, and its own consciousness. He couldn't imagine how terrifying it would be if the phone he used could think. Of course, it would also be more convenient and intelligent. Ningxu put the Rubik's Cube on the bookshelf. It looked pretty good as decoration. Are the functions fixed? Ningxu asked 2333. 2333 said, "It's almost fixed." Ningxu heaved a sigh of relief. It was good that it was fixed. Sometimes, Ningxu was really afraid that 2333 would not wake up. Now 2333 could talk to him. It was good that he was alive and kicking. It was also good to be a mascot. It was better than nothing. Ningxu clicked on the screen and looked at Eliza's situation when she returned. However, Ningxu's expression became a little strange. That was because he saw that Vivian had several husbands. Even Eliza had a few husbands. Because there were not many girls in the team, in order to reproduce, they could only do this. This way, they could reproduce as much as possible. This was definitely a matriarchal society. Now that there were few people, the girls had the responsibility of reproducing the population, so their status was more noble. Perhaps when there were more people, a patriarchal society would appear. Occasionally, they would marry the natives. Ningxu saw the smile on Eliza's face. Eliza had a pair of blue eyes like Alveus. When she smiled, it was like the sparkling sea under the sun. Being alive was a kind of happiness. Being able to have a place for people to live was happiness. Although she did not become a mecha pilot, Eliza was still happy to be alive. Ningxu turned off the screen and took the Law Sea Stone into the virtual space to look for the silver-haired man. He also went to the restaurant to eat something. After returning from the interstellar dimension, Ningxu felt like he was going crazy with hunger. On planet Selder, he ate moldy and rotten food every day. On planet Omega, he drank clear nutrient solutions every day. With a sense of weightlessness, Ningxu stood on an antique street. Ningxu first went to the restaurant to order something to eat. After eating, he slowly went to the consultation room. As soon as he walked into the consultation room, Ningxu closed his eyes and used all his lung capacity to absorb the fragrance in the room. When he inhaled it into his soul, he felt a cooling sensation flow into his soul. Even the dust was washed away. Ningxu opened his eyes in intoxication and met two pairs of eyes. Ningxu almost suffocated. Ningxu stared at the silver-haired man and a lunatic who was dressed in black all over. Every time he saw them, they were dressed in this way. Ningxu could not help but want to complain. They were dressed as if they were going to a funeral. The atmosphere was a little awkward. Ningxu's heart was pounding. He saw the two of them sitting together in the same room. He felt that the atmosphere was especially. It was really not that Ningxu looked down on people, but these two people. The silver-haired man had long silver hair. The school doctor was dressed in abstinent black. Both of them had long legs and long arms. He could imagine the two of them hugging each other. Ningxu's heart was pounding. The uncle got up from his chair and said coldly to the silver-haired man, "Get rid of those who are useless and unqualified. Why do we still need these people every time?" The silver-haired man nodded and grunted. The uncle turned and left. The breeze blew at the corner of his black coat. When he reached the door, he stopped and looked down at Ningxu. Ningxu thought, "Why are you looking at me? I'm useless. Unqualified. What kind of trouble were these two trying to cause?" Ningxu instinctively felt that something was wrong. Had he heard some secret? Chapter 1294. The school doctor brushed past Ningxu. His cold aura made Ningxu's soul feel as if it was frozen. Her entire body felt like it was covered in ice. It was very uncomfortable. When would she stop being controlled by others? Just passing by made her soul unable to bear it. Ningxu sat opposite the silver-haired man and asked, "What were you talking about?" "Is this your last question?" the silver-haired man said. "Then I won't ask." Ningxu shook his head. "No, you still owe me 2 questions. How did it become the last question? 3 free questions, now there's only 1 left." The silver-haired man looked at Ningxu. "Are you trying to blackmail me?" Ningxu was speechless. "I want to blackmail you. What do you want to ask this time?" Ningxu touched the sea rule stone. He wanted to ask what it was for, but he didn't want to use it that way. The most important thing for her now was to build her own world and control her own destiny. Even if the sea rule stone was important, with her current strength, it was useless to know. Ningxu laughed. "I haven't seen you in a long time, so I came to visit you." 300,000 points, the silver-haired man said. "I've been charging you since you entered the room, and you've inhaled so much agarwood." Ningxu thought, ha 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 ha, that's not how you do business. How can you do this? Even if you can't do business, you can still be benevolent. The silver-haired man said directly, "That's how I do business." Ningxu gave him 300,000 points and got out of the consultation room. It was better not to come to such a blood-sucking place. It was too dark, willful and black-hearted. Ningxu walked around, bought some gadgets, and returned to the system space. 2333 Ningxu said, "Think about it. How many times have you been killed? The higher-ups have started to fire people." Ningxu was speechless. It was a bolt from the blue. Was she going to lose her job? "What do you mean by firing people? Have you received the news?" Ningxu asked. "What are the specific standards?" "I received a message from the mainframe." 2333 said, "The mission enforcer and the system are finished together." Together? Ningxu heaved a sigh of relief. "Even if I die, at least I'll have a scapegoat." 2333 sneered. "It's a complete obliteration. And the soul power will become the reward for the other mission takers." Ningxu was so scared that he almost wet his pants. "What are the standards?" "Erased more than 7 times. Mission completion rate more than 60%. Both the mission taker and the system were erased. The mission taker's poor performance was due to the system's poor guidance. The system erased both of them." "Ningxu, have you ever guided me?" "You've never guided it? Is the amulet useless?" Ningxu asked. "The amulet was bought with merit points." "The amulet can save your life temporarily, but if the mission is not good enough, and there are always people who travel between worlds, these people will be erased. So you have to calculate, how many times have you been erased?" 2333 said. "It feels good to protect myself, but we'll settle the score together." 2333 said. "Damn it, I finally recovered." Ningxu was also anxious. "Why is it so difficult? This isn't a game, you can restart. If you're erased, it's gone. Don't think you can escape with the amulet." 2333 said anxiously. "How many times have you been erased? I remember you were erased a few times." "I'm counting." Ningxu counted with his fingers. "She shouldn't have been erased 7 times. Once, twice, thrice. It should be 4 times, at most 4 times." Ningxu said with certainty. "Once in the school world, once in the demon world, and once in the lunatic world." The mission completion rate for these 2 times was 80%. The previous times were almost 100%. Ningxu let out a long sigh. "I think I should be able to pass. Then I'll submit the data, are you sure?" 2333 asked. "Shouldn't you pay attention to this kind of thing? Why do you have to remove the mission takers?" Ningxu asked. 2333 said. "If one person can't complete the mission, then another will take over. Then a world can be traveled multiple times. When a mission taker enters a world, when traveling, it will also cause damage to the world. If a mission taker can't complete the mission well, then another mission taker will enter the world to complete the same mission, causing damage to the world again. Mission takers who don't pass will only be erased." 2333 explained. "Why not just kill them directly? Why not give them a chance to reincarnate? That was too inhumane." 2333 sighed and said, "Once you step on this path, there is no turning back. There are too many ways to go, no one will take it seriously. Anyway, if you fail, you have the amulet. Even if you are fired, you can still reincarnate. There is no such good thing in the world. Ningxu, we can only grit our teeth and charge forward." Ningxu took a deep breath. There was no way to change the rules, only to adapt to the rules. Building a world was the most important thing now. With a world, they wouldn't be erased so easily. But where could they find the world's origin? It was really worrying. They couldn't panic. If they panicked, it would be easy to cause problems. "Phew, we're fine this time," 2333 said. "This time? There's a next time?" Ningxu didn't dare to relax at all. "Of course, there will be a batch every time." Ningxu was speechless. "Mom, the world is so dangerous." She hoped that the next time she cleaned, she would have successfully built a world and wouldn't have to be so worried. Ningxu sat cross-legged on the sofa. She was lucky to live until now. She just didn't know if she could see her parents again in this life. The flow of time in every world was different. She didn't know how her parents were now. Ningxu lay down on the sofa and decided to take a nap. There was no point in worrying. When she woke up again, Ningxu felt much better. She had escaped this disaster and could live for a while longer. Work hard, do your best. Ningxu moved her neck and took a book from the bookshelf to read. After reading it, she put the book back on the shelf and said to 2333, "Let's go do the quest. Tell me, which world's origin is most likely to appear in?" It's possible in every world, but not every world. This thing is not easy to form, or it wouldn't be so precious. 2333 said. It depends on fate. Ningxu was speechless. She had a bad life. She hoped that her luck stat would be useful. She hoped that she could find the world's origin. Let's do the quest. Only by doing quests could she become stronger. Ningxu had no other wishes now. She just wanted to live. Even survival was a problem. Everything else was behind. If God blocked her, she would kill God. If Buddha blocked her, she would kill Buddha. Ningxu felt dizzy and entered the world. Her soul slowly merged into a body. She didn't know what the background was this time. Chapter 1295. Ningxu didn't like the universe. It was too big. For example, the distance between planets couldn't be reached by car. It was even more impossible by foot. There were many things that couldn't be achieved by one's own strength. She would rather have a smaller world. Ningxu opened her eyes. She saw a simple but elegant curtain. There were flowers embroidered at the bottom of the bed. They weren't big red or purple flowers but pink and white flowers. It was very simple and elegant. Third miss, you're awake. A girl dressed like a maid came in with a copper basin. There was a cloth on the edge of the basin to clean her face. Ningxu nodded and let the maid clean her face. Ningxu scanned the decorations around her. This time, she should be a young lady from a big family. After cleaning her face, Ningxu said to the maid, "You go out first. Miss, I have to help you dress. If I'm late, Mr. Lu will punish you," the maid said. "All right then." Ningxu allowed the young maidservant to dress her up. Then, she began to receive the plot. She had to know the plot. Looking at the background, it was a bit like a house fight. In ancient times, the women in the backyard fought for their husband's favor and power in the backyard. She had to know the identity of this body. The original owner was called Lu Yueyin. Her father was a second-rank minister of war. He had a high position. But Lu Yueyin was a concubine's daughter and ranked third. Actually, Lu Yueyin was just a passerby. She was cannon fodder swept away by the conflict. The main character was the second-ranked Lu Juning. She was the daughter of the first wife. Moreover, this Lu Juning had been reborn. And she had been reborn with boundless hatred. In her previous life, Lu Juning became the third prince's wife. She worked hard to help the second prince defeat the crown prince. So many competitors became the emperor, and she became the empress. But the second prince hooked up with her concubine's sister. They hooked up a long time ago. It was just to use the power of her maternal family to marry her. She worked hard to help the second prince. In the end, when the second prince ascended the throne, he removed her position as empress and made her sister the empress. He didn't even let their child go. The scumbag killed his own son. Lu Juning watched his son die in front of him. Lu Juning was hacked to death by 1,000 cuts. Before he died, he regretted that he had let his grandfather's family give up their military power in order to solidify his position. His maternal grandfather's entire family was also executed. The reason was laughable. He had colluded with the enemy and committed treason. Lu Juning swore that if there was an afterlife, he would make these people pay with their blood. After her death, Lu Juning was reborn. She was reborn in a boudoir before she married the scumbag prince. Lu Juning looked at the woman who was occupying her mother's position. You want to be promoted as a lowly concubine? You will never have the chance to be promoted in this lifetime. There was also the bitch who instigated a scumbag to kill her son and steal her position as empress in her previous life. In this life, I'll let you all taste the pain of wishing you were dead. The position of emperor, scum can forget about it for the rest of your life. Because of the prophecy, Lu Juning began to plan. Sparks flew along the way as she defeated the mother and daughter in the backyard. She targeted the scumbag prince so that the scumbag would never be able to become emperor in this lifetime. She had already given up on love, but in this life, she met a man who was so loyal to her. Her heart was slowly softened by this man who loved her deeply. The previous Lu Yueyin did not participate in the battle between the two in her previous life. When Lu Juning was removed from her position as empress, Lu Mingxian became empress and gave the previous Lu Juning a marriage. She married into the Marquis Manor, and was the eldest son of the first wife. He would inherit the Marquis Manor in the future. In Lu Juning's eyes, Lu Mingxian and the previous Lu Juning were on the same side. Even if Lu Yueyin did not do anything to hurt her, She was still a fence-sitter. After her rebirth, the battle between Lu Juning and Lu Mingxian was very intense. Lu Mingxian wanted to make Lu Juning lose her innocence. Of course, Lu Juning would not fall into her trap. In order to sow discord between the previous Lu Juning and Lu Mingxian, she dragged the previous Lu Juning into it. The previous Lu Juning had lost her innocence. Lu Juning came in front of the previous Lu Juning and told her that it was Lu Mingxian who planned this. Naturally, she wanted the previous Lu Juning to deal with Lu Mingxian, but the previous Lu Juning did not have time to deal with Lu Mingxian before she died of an illness. She was sent to the family temple for the rest of her life. The previous Lu Juning's wish was, if she was not schemed against, she would not marry the eldest son of the Marquis Manor. The eldest son of the Marquis Manor that Lu Yueyin married was actually a poor person. Otherwise, with his status, he would have married a daughter of the first wife of a noble family and not a concubine's daughter. For the sake of his reputation, this eldest son had never exposed his homosexual tendencies. He also did not have a concubine in the manor. After marrying Lu Yueyin, he only had Lu Yueyin as his wife. Outsiders said that Lu Yueyin had a good life. She married into a noble family and her husband did not take in concubines. Only Lu Yueyin knew the bitterness of this. It was probably because of this that the reborn Lu Juning did not like the previous Lu Juning. She felt that this person was a despicable person. She relied on flattering Lu Mingxian to marry into this kind of family. When Lu Mingxian schemed against her innocence, Lu Juning had Lu Yueyin take the place of this shameful scene of catching adultery. Ningxu finished accepting the plot and let out a long sigh. It really was a scene of a group of women fighting. Ningxu did not know what to say about this plot. There did not seem to be any logical problems. She was reborn to kill the scum man and the slut. However, how bad was the character of the female lead, Lu Juning, to make her husband, who was already married and had a child, hate her so much that he did not even let his own flesh and blood go? Cut her into pieces? It was as tragic as it could be. Let's just say that the scum man was inhumane. However, if Lu Juning had not schemed for the scum man's throne in her previous life, then she should have been resourceful. How did she not know that her husband and her sister were together? Fortunately, she let the scum man become the emperor, and made her maternal grandfather's family hand over their military power to consolidate the scum man's throne. Wasn't this putting a rope around her maternal grandfather's neck? Then she would become the empress. Then it could only be explained by love. She was blinded by this pile of shit called love. As long as you promise me love, I will overturn this world for you. Ningxu. She worked so hard just for a little love. Shouldn't she chop the scum man up? Anyway, she had a son. Wouldn't it be great to help her son ascend the throne and be the regent empress? She put her hand on the beautiful man's hand and asked, "What do you see?" The beautiful man. The landscape is picturesque. Wrong, it's Aijia's picturesque landscape. The result was all kinds of tragic. Her child was thrown to his death, and she was cut into pieces. Before she died, she cursed all kinds of things, and was reborn to take revenge. I did so much for you, but you don't love me. You lied to me, blah blah blah. I was devoted to you and even caused the death of my maternal grandfather's family. But you treat me like this. Ningxu only wanted to say that she was wronged. Her hands were also stained with blood when she helped men fight for power. But now it was her turn. Why did she feel so wronged? Hehe, I love you, so you have to love me. I did so much for you, so you have to love me. He did not know where this logic came from. Chapter 1296. After Ningxu finished reading the plot, there were only 3 words in his heart. Adulterous couple. All crows in the world are equally black. For a man, she even gave up her family. Being treated like this by a man, she was filled with resentment. In her next life, she wanted you to die a horrible death. She was clearly hurt by love in her previous life. In this life, she still found a man. After taking revenge on the scum, she definitely wanted happiness. Happiness needed a man. And this man's identity had to be nobler than the scum. When she was in danger, this man could come and save her. Miss, it's done. The maid Yuan Xiang used a wooden comb to compress Ningxu's hair. Ningxu made a sound of acknowledgement. Looking at Lu Yueyin in the bronze mirror, she looked to be around 12 or 13 years old. Her appearance was not outstanding. Compared to Lu Juning and Lu Mingxian, Lu Yueyun's presence was much lower. Ningxu hurried to the inner courtyard. In a family like the Lu family, the women in the family had to learn all kinds of things. Needlework, women's discipline, zither, chess, calligraphy, and painting had to be able to show off and increase their value. Mr. Lu was a teacher invited by concubine Yun, who was Lu Mingxuan's birth mother. She was very strict. If she was late, she would be beaten. Ningxu arrived at the school and saw that she was the only one who was not there. Third sister, you were almost late today, Lu Mingxian said to Ningxu. Ningxu sat down in his seat and said while panting, I woke up late. Lu Mingxian was wearing an aqua blue embroidered moon gown and a soft silver lily skirt. She had an exquisite hairpin on her head. Lu Mingxuan's clothes had already surpassed the standards of a concubine's daughter. But who told Lu Mingxuan's birth mother, concubine Yun, to be in charge of the Lu family's inner courtyard? Lu Mingxian also had a 7 or 8-year-old younger brother. He was the only son in the inner courtyard, so concubine Yun was very confident. She wanted to make her the wife, but Father Lu was a high official in the court. If he really made her the wife and did something inappropriate, the imperial censor's report would fly to the emperor's desk. Therefore, concubine Yun only had the right to be a wife, but not the title of a wife. Ningxu took out the embroidery that she had not finished last time. She looked at the basket of scissors, thread of various colors, and so many needles. Ningxu silently put down the embroidery. Ningxu looked at the 3 people in the classroom. Lu Juning was the most stable person in the classroom, with a maturity that did not match his age. There was a black aura and a murderous aura between his eyebrows, as if there was something difficult to resolve. She made it hard for people to get close to her, cold and incomparable. There was also the 4th young miss, who was also a concubine's daughter like the original owner. However, her biological mother had a difficult labor when giving birth to her. For so many years, she had been raised by a wet nurse, and her presence was even lower than the original owners. Where there were people, there would be Jianghu. Where there were women, it was even more terrifying, especially the women who were locked up in the backyard. They were like goo worms in a wok killing each other. Although it was not that terrifying, but for a hairpin, a pair of earrings, or something like that, it was possible to have conflicts. Feeling that someone was looking at her, Lu Juning tilted her head to look at Ningxu. Her eyes were cold, and Ningxu could feel that there was a trace of disdain in her eyes. Ningxu sighed in his heart. The original owner was often taught by his biological mother to be cautious and not cause trouble. If he could take a step back, then take a step back. Although the eldest young Miss Lu Mingxian was not a daughter of the first wife, she was raised as such. Her biological mother, concubine Yun, was in charge of the entire backyard, so she should not fight with Lu Mingxian. The second young Miss Lu Juning was a daughter of the first wife, and her maternal grandfather was a great general. Although her mother had died early, her status was noble, so she should not fight with Lu Juning. Lu Yueyin only wanted to protect herself. In that life, Lu Mingxian had given her a homosexual, and in the next life, Lu Juning had taken her virginity. She no longer had any value, and instead dragged down the family's reputation. She was killed and then sent to the family temple. Not fighting did not have a good ending. Sometimes fighting was for survival, and sometimes it was for fame and fortune, fighting for a high position. Oh my, killing people without spilling blood. Teacher Lu was a woman with many talents. It was said that she had been a teaching nurse in the palace, and concubine Yun had spent a large amount of money to hire her to teach the young misses in the Fu. Having been taught by a nurse from the palace, the value of the young misses in the Fu would be higher. Teacher Lu walked in with a ruler. She first swept her eyes over the people present. Seeing that everyone was present, she nodded her head in satisfaction. When Lu Juning saw this Teacher Lu, her expression became severe. Clearly, she had thought of something bad. Teacher Lu walked straight to Lu Juning and sternly asked, "Second young miss, the task I gave you yesterday has been completed." Lu Juning's expression became colder and colder. She took out the woman's ring that she had copied. "Teacher, it has been completed." Teacher Lu only casually flipped through it and said, You don't have to copy it completely, but the handwriting must be neat. Look at your handwriting. Seeing words is like seeing a person. You need to practice more. I understand, teacher. Lu Juning said greedily. Even Ning Shu could see that teacher Lu was purposely making things difficult for Lu Juning. If Lu Juning did not complete it, she would not be able to escape the punishment. After copying it, he said that the handwriting was not good. In any case, he was thinking of ways to find fault. Lu Juning lowered her head, her expression full of sarcasm. In her previous life, it was this old woman who said that she was stupid, causing her reputation to become very bad. It was concubine Yun who purposely ruined her reputation, so that it would be convenient for Shen Hao to marry her. Using her grandfather's family to ascend to the throne. She must think of a way to deal with this tigress. Ning Shu was hit twice because her needlework was not completed, and it was not done well. Fourth young Miss Lu Yujing was also hit twice. Ning Shu felt that teacher Lu hit Lu Yujing harder than he hit her. 2 slaps, it was painful just hearing it. As expected, he was a person who looked at the dish. Lu Yujing's birth mother was no longer around. There was no one to take care of her in the Lu family. Teacher Lu naturally did not need to care. Teacher Lu also taught some content of the female precepts. The task was to memorize the content of the female precepts. This was clearly a futile thing that restricted a woman's rights. She had to memorize it. Ning Shu glanced at it and memorized it. Her needlework was more difficult for her. It was already good enough that she could sew the clothes, but she still had to sew flowers. It was not just one flower, but one piece. It was fine if it was just one piece, but she had to sew butterflies. With Ning Shu's fast-paced life, she could not play with this at all. After more than 4 hours of class, today's class was considered to be over. Ning Shu hurried out of the classroom and asked the maid, Yuan Xiang, to prepare food. She was really hungry. Young miss, concubine Lu asked you to go over for a meal. She said that she has something to say to young Mississippi, Yuan Xiang said. Ning Shu went to concubine Lu's courtyard. Concubine Lu was Lu Yueyun's birth mother. However, she could not call her mother. She could only call her concubine. Concubine also could not call her daughter. She could only call her third young Mississippi. Chapter 1297. Concubine Lu was standing at the entrance of the courtyard. When she saw Ning Shu, her eyes lit up and she looked at Ning Shu eagerly. Concubine Lu. Ning Shu called. Concubine Lu was a pretty girl from a humble family. She wasn't very pretty, but she was very comfortable. Her father was a small official in a small place. To be able to become the concubine of a second-rank official of the Ministry of War was already out of her league. But because she came from a small place, she always had a petty feeling about her. Third miss, is it hard to learn from teacher? Concubine Lu asked Ning Shu. Ning Shu said, it's okay. Concubine Lu had the servant girl beside her bring out the food, and then kept helping Ning Shu with the food. Third miss, I heard that you were beaten by teacher today? Concubine Lu looked worriedly at Ning Shu. The news spread quickly. Concubine Lu said earnestly to Ning Shu, Third miss, you must work hard. That teacher is a nanny from the palace. If you can get his praise, you can also marry into a good family in the future. Ning Shu was speechless. If your reputation is good, then people will come to propose marriage. Concubine Lu continued. What do we women want? Isn't it to be able to marry a good husband? You crawled out of my stomach. You are a concubine's daughter. But if you marry well, your life will be good in the future. Concubine Lu said sadly. Ning Shu ate. Life at home wasn't good. But would it be good if she married? Who knew what it would be like when she reached her husband's family? A husband had many wives and concubines. There were also parents-in-law. If the family was more complicated, there would be sisters-in-law. Life would be a mess. Ning Shu wasn't in a hurry to get married at all. The original owner married a young master of the Marquis family. It wasn't bad. She had good food and a good place to live. Her husband didn't come to bother her. She ran to other men every day. But it was equivalent to being a living widow. The original owner was a virgin until her death. She didn't have a child. If she couldn't have a child, it was usually the woman's fault. It had nothing to do with the man, so she was under a lot of pressure. This was obviously a marriage scam. The original owner was a wife in ancient times. Third miss, do you remember everything I told you? Concubine Lu looked at Ning Shu eating with his head down and couldn't help but say, if you continue like this, how can you get married? Ning Shu was speechless. How helpless. Ning Shu nodded. I'll remember it all. Learn needlework well. Learn to compose poems and play the zither, and learn the precepts for women. That's right. Concubine Lu laughed, and picked up some food for Ning Shu. Also, don't get into a conflict with eldest Miss and second Mississippi, I know. Ning Shu nodded and didn't want to argue with Concubine Lu. It would only make her worry. Even if he was doing a mission, he had to do it secretly so that his hands wouldn't be stained. Concubine Lu chattered nonstop throughout the meal. She told her to work hard, to find a good man, and to marry into a good family. Ning Shu readily agreed. After the meal, Ning Shu quickly left. Her mind was filled with Concubine Lu's words. Sometimes, a woman's confinement came from a woman. A mother taught her daughter to be like a good wife, teaching her husband and children. Women themselves were the protectors of a male-dominated society. Ning Shu returned to her room and saw the things in the embroidery basket on the table. She couldn't help but rub her eyebrows. This thing really made people. You can leave first. I'll take a nap, Ning Shu said to Yuan Xiang. Miss, you should embroider the mission that Mr. Lu gave you first. Otherwise, Concubine Lu will be anxious again. Yuan Xiang said worriedly. Her fate was closely related to Mrs. She would marry with Miss in the future. If Miss didn't marry well, her life would be bad. So Yuan Xiang advised Ning Shu. Miss, you should hurry up and embroider the mission. Otherwise, you will be punished by Mr. Lu tomorrow. Ning Shu was speechless. Ning Shu smiled and said, I'll just take a nap. I can definitely do this well. Yuan Xiang looked a little suspicious, but she still left and closed the door. Ning Shu sat cross-legged on the bed and began to cultivate. If she was really forced to take the blame, she would have a chance to escape. In this ancient era where etiquette was strict, a woman's innocence was greater than heaven. Without innocence, she would be abandoned by her family. Even without her family, Ning Shu felt that she could survive. However, she was very unhappy to be pulled in for no reason. She also had to marry a homosexual. Therefore, it was important to have strength, very important. The air in ancient times was fresh, and there was abundant spirit energy. After staying on planet Selder, Ning Shu felt that no matter where she was, it was a paradise with abundant spirit energy. There was only comparison when there was comparison. When her body cultivated a trace of strength, Ning Shu stopped cultivating and began to embroider in a refreshed state. The embroidery that Mr. Lu had arranged was a begonia flower. The original owner hadn't finished it at all. When Ning Shu came, Ning Shu still hadn't finished it and was hit twice. The begonia flower was half done, and the stitches were a little rough. It was obvious that the original owner's needlework wasn't the best. Embroidery was also an art. Ning Shu picked up the needle and began to embroider. But how should she insert the needle? Ning Shu inhaled and exhaled and began to embroider slowly, searching for skills in the original owner's memory. There was a lot of theoretical knowledge, but she didn't know how to embroider. However, Ning Shu did embroider in the end, but it wasn't very good. Forget it, I'll just report it like this. Ning Shu finished the embroidery and put it in the basket. She rubbed her eyes and began to cultivate. Cultivation was the most important thing. She would only think about embroidery after cultivating. Ning Shu also wanted to embroider well, and strive to be a woman with a fierce tiger in her heart who sniffed the roses. Wahahaha, miss. Yuan Xiang's voice sounded outside the door. Ning Shu stopped and sat on the stool. Yuan Xiang came in and saw the things in the basket. Miss, you're already done? Ning Shu nodded. Yuan Xiang picked up the embroidery and looked at it. Her expression became a little strange. She then said, Miss Embroidered. Ning Shu knew what Yuan Xiang wanted to say. Although the embroidery wasn't good, it was still done. She could take it slow in the future. She felt that embroidery was more difficult than cultivation. I want to go out of the house, Ning Shu said. Yuan Xiang was a little surprised and asked, "Why are you going out of the house?" Madam might not agree. "My body isn't feeling well. My period is probably coming. My stomach hurts. I need to get the doctor to prescribe some medicine," Ning Shu said. She needed to get some medicine. In the battle between Lu Juning and Lu Mingxian, there were both overt and covert, and all sorts of underhanded things were flying everywhere. Aphrodisiacs, knockout drugs, poison, witchcraft dolls. She also needed to get something to defend herself. If these methods were used on a scumbag, he would have already ascended to heaven and become the Empress Dowager. When Yuan Xiang heard that Ning Shu was going to see a doctor, she didn't say anything and helped Ning Shu do her makeup again. After everything was done, Ning Shu went to the main courtyard to ask Concubine Yin for instructions. If Concubine Yin didn't allow it, she couldn't go out. Chapter 1298. In ancient times, the young ladies of noble families could not run outside for no reason. They could only go out if the mistress said they could. Their daily activities were in the back courtyard. Since they were so bored, they definitely had to find something to do. Then let's fight. The main courtyard was very imposing. Ning Shu had to ask the servant girl at the door if she could see Concubine Yin. "Third young miss, Madam asked you to go in." The servant girl, Ning Shu said. Ning Shu thanked her and walked into the main hall. Concubine Yin's posture was very big. There were several servant girls serving her. She had the air of a mistress. Concubine Yin did not have the title of official wife. Although everyone in the Fu called her Madam, outside of the Lu family, no one acknowledged it. The room was magnificent and there were all kinds of exquisite decorations. Concubine Yin sat on a soft couch. She wore a brocade dress and her hair was covered in pearls. Her posture was very imposing. If people lacked something, they would work hard to show it off. The more Concubine Yin showed off her style, the more it showed that she wanted to be promoted. Ning Shu bowed. "Greetings to Madam." Concubine Yin put down the teacup and asked casually, "What's the matter?" "Every time my period comes, my lower abdomen hurts unbearably. I want to go out of the food to get some medicine," Ning Shu said honestly. She lowered her head and looked very humble. Concubine Yin grunted. "Do you have enough money?" "Enough. I have money," Ning Shu said. Concubine Yin's brows relaxed a little. "The family's sedan bearer will be used by the master later." "No need for a sedan. I can walk," Ning Shu said. Concubine Yin nodded with satisfaction. "Go early and return early." "Thank you, Madam." Ning Shu bowed and left with Yuan Xiang. Outside the door, Yuan Xiang complained. "How can you let the young miss walk? What if someone bumps into the young miss?" Usually the eldest and second young miss can use a sedan when going out. Yuan Xiang was very dissatisfied. When the young misses of big families went out, they had to use a sedan. It was for transportation. Most of the girls had their feet tied. They could not walk fast and could not walk much. Secondly, it was to prevent lechers from molesting women. With the sedan bearers around, it would not be so easy. At the same time, it was also a symbol of status. Ning Shu glanced at Yuan Xiang. "You can't say such things out loud. If Madam hears you, you should know the consequences. If there were too many people around, it would be difficult for her to move around." Ning Shu went to the pharmacy to let the doctor take his pulse, and then grabbed the medicine. Ning Shu shook off Yuan Xiang, and went to another pharmacy to grab some more medicine. After grabbing the medicine, Ning Shu saw Yuan Xiang looking for her everywhere. She was so anxious that her face was red. Ning Shu walked over and patted her shoulder. "Miss, how could you run around like that? You scared this servant to death," Yuan Xiang said with red eyes. Ning Shu gave Yuan Xiang a candy figurine. "I saw this. Miss, don't run around." Yuan Xiang took the candy figurine. Seeing that it was getting late, Ning Shu and Yuan Xiang hurried back to the residence. At the gate, they met Lu Juning, who had just gotten off the sedan. It seemed that she had just returned from somewhere. She should have gone to her maternal grandfather's house. In her previous life, she caused the death of her maternal grandfather's family. Was she going to make it up to her in this life? At the same time, she would also make use of her maternal grandfather's power. Lu Juning's expression was cold and her temperament was cold. After experiencing such a thing in her previous life, she could not be happy. Lu Juning came down from the sedan and glanced at the bag of medicine in Yuan Xiang's hand. Then, she looked at Ning Shu. Did he have to look at her with disdain every time he saw her? Why did he look at her with disdain? Was it because the original owner was wise and did not help her? Was it because the original owner married well in her previous life? But there was no need to count the original owner, Lu Yueyun, as an enemy. Helping you was a favor. Not helping you was my duty. Everyone had a hard time living. Hello, second older sister. Ning Shu bowed to Lu Juning. There was a difference in seniority. Since she had seen her, she had to bow to Lu Juning. Lu Juning only coldly grunted in acknowledgement and entered through the door. Ning Shu did not care about Lu Juning's attitude. You can do whatever you want. Lu Juning, who was walking in front, suddenly turned around and looked at Ning Shu. She asked, "Third younger sister, what medicine did you buy?" Ning Shu said shyly, "It's for abdominal pain. It hurts every time." "So it's like that." Lu Juning nodded coldly and turned to leave. Ning Shu felt a bit strange and returned to his room. No matter how Lu Juning and Lu Mingxian fought, as long as she did not get involved, she was too lazy to care. Strictly speaking, these two had both cheated the original owner and pushed him into a pit of fire. He could not even climb back up. Ning Shu had Yuan Xiang boil the medicine. Drinking the bitter medicine was really tempting. After eating dinner and waiting for Yuan Xiang to fall asleep, Ning Shu took out the medicine he bought during the day and began to make it. Ning Shu made a knockout drug, poison, and a strong aphrodisiac. Not only you people would use these things, because they knew the importance of reputation. Everyone was trying to pour dirty water on each other. Really? Ning Shu carried the medicine he made with him. If something unexpected happened, it would be easy to deal with it. The next day Ning Shu was still beaten. The reason was that the embroidery was too ugly. Although he finished embroidering a begonia flower, it did not look like a flower from afar. Mr. Lu found fault with Lu Juning, but Lu Juning did a good job. Mr. Lu could only find some flaws that sounded very forced. Among the four people, only Lu Mingxian received Mr. Lu's praise every time. Lu Mingxian did a good job. Ning Shu felt that concubine Yun's ambition was very big. Lu Mingxian was also very ambitious and aimed for glory and wealth. The third Prince Shun Hao was really awesome. He took the two sisters of the Lu family into his arms. After using one, he supported another to become the empress. He really knew how to play. Lu Juning saw that Mr. Lu was trying his best to praise Lu Mingxian, and her expression was very sarcastic. Ning Shu supported his chin and looked at the two people. Under this kind of atmosphere, it was really tiring. He was beaten by the teacher every day, and he also had to face two people who were strange. In order to not be beaten again, Ning Shu made up his mind to embroider the begonia flower. After school, Ning Shu went straight to his courtyard. "Third sister." A voice sounded from behind. Ning Shu turned and saw fourth Miss Lu Yujing. When she came closer, he asked, "Fourth sister, what's the matter?" Lu Yujing said softly, "Third sister, you teach you needlework. You teach me how to memorize." Lu Yujing's voice was very soft. If Ning Shu did not listen carefully, he would not have heard it clearly. Ning Shu nodded. "Okay." She originally wanted to ask concubine Lu how to embroider, but since Lu Yujing came, it was convenient. However, Lu Yujing's embroidery was better than hers. Are we going to your courtyard or my courtyard?" Ning Shu asked. "Let's go to your courtyard," Lu Yujing said. Her courtyard was too shabby. Ning Shu nodded and brought Lu Yujing to his room. Chapter 1299. Lu Yujing looked at Ning Shu's room and said enviously, "Your room is so beautiful." Ning Shu didn't think it was beautiful. Lu Mingxian and Lu Juning's rooms were beautiful. Lu Yujing probably had never been allowed to enter their rooms. Ning Shu and Lu Yujing sat around the table. Ning Shu held embroidery in his hands and Lu Yujing held the woman's precepts. Lu Yujing couldn't memorize the woman's precepts every time, because she didn't recognize some characters. Lu Yujing was only 10 years old, and didn't recognize some difficult characters. Teacher Lu's progress was based on Lu Mingxuan's. They were here to accompany the crown prince and didn't know how to teach him word by word. Especially Lu Yujing, she didn't need to care. Ningxu told Lu Yujing how to read this character. Lu Yujing told her how to insert the needle and how to embroider. Ningxu said with surprise, "How do you know so much?" Lu Yujing's face was red and she said in a small voice, "I learned from the wet nurse." Lu Yujing usually didn't have much to do and her presence was very low. She was quiet and introverted. She actually found sustenance in needlework. When she had nothing to do, she would embroider things. Sometimes the embroidery she made could be sold for money. Ningxu nodded. See, that was why it was so important to have a skill that could support oneself. Lu Yujing could earn money at such a young age. Although the Lu family was a large family, not everyone could take care of them. The more this kind of place was, the stricter the hierarchy. Sometimes, Lu Yujing was completely ignored. This time, concubine Yun allowed Lu Yueyin and Lu Yujing to learn from teacher Lu, probably because she wanted to be a green leaf to match the red flower. Third sister, you can't tell madam that I sell embroidery. Lu Yujing's face was pale. I won't. Under Lu Yujing's guidance, Ningxu grasped a bit of the technique. Although her embroidery wasn't very good, it was better than the mess from before. She really didn't want to be beaten. Giving a plum in return for a peach. What did Lu Yujing not understand? Ningxu told Lu Yujing with all her heart. When Lu Yujing left, Ningxu gave her a writing brush and an inkstone so that she could practice calligraphy. Lu Yujing looked at the brush and inkstone. Ningxu thanked her. Thank you, third sister. After Lu Yujing left, Ningxu continued to embroider. When he found the pattern, he was not as clumsy as before. On the contrary, it was rather interesting. Mr. Lu would not teach them step by step. He would only assign tasks, and if they could not complete them, he would punish them with a plank. Ningxu was not in a hurry. Anyway, there were plenty of people to deal with this Mr. Lu. He kept finding fault with Lu Juning. Lu Juning, who was full of anger now, would not let him go. Ningxu hummed a tune while embroidering. In the future, even if she couldn't survive in the modern plane, she could still make a living by doing embroidery. Oh, hee. With this thought in mind, Ningxu began to embroider seriously, striving to obtain such a skill. However, after coming to this world, she had yet to meet the father of this body. The original owner didn't have much time to see her father. When Lu Yuanfan entered the backyard, he would usually find a concubine or go to concubine Yun's place. At most, they would gather to eat together during festivals. At other times, they would not see each other. His daughter would be taught by the woman who took care of the backyard. When his daughter grew up and was about to get married, he would bring it out. In fact, family affection was still very indifferent. Towards Lu Yuanfan, this father, there was only reverence. However, in the end, Lu Yuanfan was miserably dealt with by the reborn Lu Juning. He lost his official position and his reputation. Because Lu Yuanfan was a scumbag father, the daughter of a concubine was born earlier than the daughter of the first wife. When Lu Juning's mother married Lu Yuanfan, concubine Yin was serving tea with a big belly. Her mother died early. Lu Juning was tortured by concubine Yin openly and secretly. In her previous life, her reputation was ruined. In this life, Lu Juning put her scumbag father on the list of revenge. Moreover, Lu Juning always suspected that her mother's death was caused by depression before she could understand anything. Regarding her mother's death, Lu Juning's heart resented her father. Moreover, her scumbag father and concubine Yun occupied her mother's dowry. Many of the decorations in concubine Yun's room were Lu Juning's mother's dowry. Lu Juning gritted her teeth. One day, she would make them all spit it out with interest. Basically, the entire Lu family was Lu Juning's enemy. Lu Juning directly chiseled through the Lu family's ship. Everyone was finished. And Lu Juning herself had a man who was deeply in love with her. Why would she need to care about the Lu family? Ningxu did not care anyway. If something really happened to the Lu family, she would take concubine Lu out to live. She would be able to live. Perhaps it would be a bit more difficult. Ningxu put down the embroidery. She rubbed her eyes and began to cultivate. The stronger, the better. Lu Juning had strong hidden guards by her side. When the time came, the hidden guards would drag her to take the blame. That would be a grievance. In the middle of the night, Ningxu heard movement in the main courtyard. There were footsteps coming and going. What happened? In the middle of the night. The next morning, Ningxu asked Yuan Xiang to find out what had happened. In the main courtyard, if it wasn't concubine Yun, then it was Lu Mingxian. Ningxu had a premonition that Lu Juning had made a move. Yuan Xiang left for a while. When she returned, Ningxu shook her head. Miss, this servant did not find out what happened. The people in the main courtyard were tight-lipped. This servant did not dare to be too obvious. Ningxu nodded. You did the right thing. Ningxu packed up and went to school. Lu Mingxuan's seat was empty. It seemed that the person who had the accident last night was Lu Mingxian. Ningxu reflexively looked at Lu Juning. Lu Juning's expression was indifferent. Seeing Ningxu looking at her, she said faintly, "Third sister, is there a flower on my face?" Ningxu only said, "Second sister, your hairpin is very beautiful." Younger sister is stunned. Lu Juning asked, "Do you want it?" Ningxu waved her hand. "No need, no need." Even the hairpin on Lu Juning's head did not match any of the clothes in Ningxu's wardrobe. The difference between a legitimate daughter and a concubine's daughter was like heaven and earth. Because Lu Mingxian did not come, Teacher Lu only said a few things and left. He did not even check the homework. Ningxu was quite disappointed. He did not check the homework when he completed it seriously. When he did not do it well or did not do it, he checked it. After Teacher Lu left, Lu Juning also left. She was noble and cold. Only Ningxu and Lu Yujing were left in the room. Lu Yujing asked Ningxu in a small voice, "Third sister, what do you think happened to eldest sister?" Ningxu shook her head. "I don't know." There was no news from the main courtyard. They also did not know. It probably was not something good. Ningxu left the school and planned to return to her own courtyard. Yuan Xiang said to Ningxu, "Miss, I heard that something happened to eldest miss." Of course she knew that something happened to Lu Mingxian. "Do you know what happened?" Ningxu asked. Chapter 1300. He did not know what had happened for her to go to such great lengths to hide it. If he still did not know, Ningxu decided to secretly climb the wall at night to see what had happened. Yuan Xiang looked around and whispered to Ningxu, "I heard that eldest miss was bleeding profusely yesterday." Bleeding profusely? Is she injured? Bleeding profusely. Could it be a miscarriage? Ningxu stopped this thought. How could she be pregnant? When he heard that she was bleeding profusely, this thought popped up in his mind. Last night, a basin of blood was brought out from the room. Yuan Xiang said, "This servant heard it from Xiao Chui." What was this situation? Yuan Xiang whispered. It was said that eldest miss had a problem with her period and a doctor was called in the middle of the night. Eldest miss was in so much pain that she was rolling on the bed. Period pain. Period pain could be so painful? Blood was flowing profusely, and it was so painful. What was the problem? Do you know what the doctor said? Yuan Xiang shook her head. I don't know. Period was a big matter for women. In addition, a woman's body was weak, and it was easy for problems to occur if they were not careful. Go ask around again, and pay attention to your own safety. Ningxu said to Yuan Xiang and gave her some money. Yuan Xiang nodded. Ningxu decided to go tonight to see what had happened. Yuan Xiang went out for a while before returning. Ningxu first bowed and then said, "Young miss, this servant found out after much difficulty." What happened? Ningxu put down the embroidery in her hands and asked. Yuan Xiang took a deep breath and said, "I heard that young miss ate something cold during her period, causing her stomach to hurt. A woman's body was at its weakest when she was on her period. She could not eat anything cold or spicy. How could a delicate flower like Lu Mingxian, who was carefully raised and accompanied by an old mama, not know about such things? And the doctor said that she took some extremely cold medicine, which caused her womb to be cold. Every time she had her period, it would be more painful. And if she doesn't take care of herself well, it would be difficult for her to get pregnant in the future." After Yuan Xiang finished speaking, Ningxu said, "Miss, do you think this is true?" Ningxu narrowed his eyes and recalled that Lu Juning had asked him what medicine he had bought. Lu Juning must have given this to Lu Mingxian. It's definitely fake, just listen to the rumors, Ningxu said to Yuanxiang without much care. Don't spread this around. Yes. Ningxu picked up the embroidery and began to embroider. A woman's greatest value was her ability to give birth to children. If she couldn't even give birth to children, then this woman's value was not great. A cold uterus was the biggest taboo for infertility. It was not easy to conceive, and even if one was pregnant, it was easy to have a miscarriage. Moreover, the woman's body was not good. Lu Juning immediately attacked Lu Mingxuan's stomach. Just like the director of the family planning office. Didn't you want to climb up? If you can't even give birth to children, let's see how you can climb up. Obey the father at home. Obey the husband when married. Obey the son when the husband dies. Children are what women rely on. Lu Mingxian was put in a difficult position by Lu Juning's move. The struggle was a bit scary. Ningxu was embroidering when concubine Yun's head servant, Lu Zhen, came over. Lu Zhen first bowed to Ningxu, then said somewhat arrogantly, "Third Miss, Madam has asked you to go over. Is something the matter? Third Miss will know when you go." Ningxu put down the embroidery and followed Lu Zhen to the main courtyard. Why did she ask her to go? What did she ask her to do? Could it be that she was dragged into this matter? Ningxu entered the main courtyard and saw concubine Yun sitting on the soft couch with a gloomy face. Her expression was very ugly. She was like a hedgehog with spikes all over her body, wanting to prick anyone she saw. At this moment, she was fiercely staring at Ningxu. Ningxu lowered his head and bowed. "What medicine did you buy last time? Where did you buy it?" Concubine Yun sternly asked Ningxu. Concubine Yun's expression was very anxious. Ningxu thought in his heart, Lu Mingxian really did have an accident, and it was a bit serious. Ningxu immediately said, "I bought medicine to treat lower abdomen pain. I got it from Jishir Hall." "You really just got this medicine?" Concubine Yun stared at Ningxu and had a servant go find someone from Jishir Hall. Ningxu let out a sigh of relief in his heart. Sure enough, she went to another place to get the medicine. Otherwise, he would not be able to explain himself. Sure enough, she was dragged into this matter. Soon, the servant found the doctor in charge of Jishir Hall. Concubine Yun asked the doctor some questions, and even had the doctor smell the dregs of the medicine to confirm that there was no problem. Although Ningxu was no longer a suspect, concubine Yun's expression was still very fierce and strict. Her gaze when looking at Ningxu was like a knife. Ningxu. This was clearly taking out her anger on him. Concubine Yun waved her hand to let Ningxu leave. Ningxu left the courtyard and bumped into Lu Juning. Ningxu stopped in his tracks. "Jiejie also wants to go to Foreign's place?" Lu Juning nodded. "I heard that something happened to Jiejie, so I came to take a look." Ningxu's mouth twitched. She deliberately came to anger him. "Why is concubine Yun looking for you? Did you do something wrong and get punished?" Lu Juning asked. The entire Lufu called concubine Yun foreign. Only Lu Juning directly called concubine Yun every time. Concubine Yun was so angry that she smashed things, but she did not make her the main wife. Lu Juning was not wrong to call her that. After all, Lu Juning was the daughter, a proper master. And a concubine could only be considered half a master. Ningxu felt that Lu Juning did not have good intentions. He said faintly, "It's nothing. Foreign just wants to talk to me." Lu Juning furrowed her brows. She looked at Ningxu and said, "In this Fu, the only one who can be called foreign is my mother. Concubine Yun has not been promoted to the position of head wife. You calling her this is improper." Ningxu, it was just a title. She would be stupid to go against concubine Yun. Calling her foreign did not mean that she was the main wife. You want to defend your mother's rights and position. What does that have to do with me? Ningxu said faintly. Everyone calls her that. Mimi can only call her that. She did not have the courage to go against concubine Yun, who was in charge of the rear courtyard. Lu Juning looked at Ningxu with a cold expression. Her eyes were filled with disdain. This kind of fence-sitter who did not have any stance at all was the most annoying person. Ningxu. This kind of gaze again. I hate it when you look like the whole world has wronged me and I am the most wronged person. We are the same. Only you are allowed to scheme against others. Others are not allowed to scheme against you. In her previous life, she fought for power for men. Who knew how many people she had schemed against? How could she not remember? Ningxu bowed in greeting. Mimi, I will leave first. Ningxu and Lu Juning brushed past each other. Miss, third miss is just a concubine's daughter. Why is she treating you like this? The servant girl beside Lu Juning said with dissatisfaction. Lu Juning said without much care. Don't worry about her. Chapter 1301. Lu Juning entered the main courtyard and went to see Lu Mingxian. Lu Mingxian flipped out in the room. I don't need her to come see me. Tell her to scram. Hurry and scram. Lu Mingxian laid on the bed. Her face was incomparably pale. Even her lips had no color. After last night's torment, she was now like a broken doll. Lu Mingxuan's originally pale face was flushed because of excitement. Lu Mingxian clutched her stomach. She felt that her body was in so much pain that she didn't dare to be agitated anymore. Lu Juning heard Lu Mingxuan's words from outside the door. Her expression was calm. She curled her lips and faintly said, since De Jiejie doesn't want to see me, then I'll come see her next time. Lu Juning turned and left. She didn't have any grievances of being rejected. Mother, it must be that bitch Lu Juning who harmed me. It must be her. Lu Mingxian cried and said to Concubine Yun. Concubine Yun gently touched Lu Mingxuan's back. Mother won't let you be harmed without knowing why. Jiejie, don't worry. I will avenge you. Lu Jinghui patted his chest. Lu Jinghui was only 7 or 8 years old. He looked strong and strong. In addition, he was the only boy in the manor. He was doted on by Lu Yuanfan. Whether or not Concubine Yun could be promoted depended on whether or not her daughter could marry a man of noble status, and her son Lu Jinghui. Lu Jinghui was the only son of Lu Manor. If he wanted to inherit the family business, for Lu Jinghui's future, he would definitely become the legitimate son. Lu Jinghui could get whatever he wanted in the manor. Seeing his sister being bullied, he immediately took out his slingshot and rushed out. Lu Jinghui ran to Lu Juning's courtyard. He took out his slingshot and directly shot at Lu Juning. If the round stone hit a person's body, it would definitely swell. The injury would definitely not be light. Lu Jinghui was immensely proud. He was prepared to see his second sister cry. The stone quickly flew towards Lu Juning. Lu Juning's expression was cold. Lu Juning's maidservant immediately blocked in front of her and closed her eyes. When the stone was about to hit the maidservant's face, a stone flew over and directly hit the bullet. It didn't hurt Lu Juning at all. Lu Jinghui was a bit stunned. He immediately took out another bullet and shot at Lu Juning. Lu Juning's expression hardened, causing her eyes to exude a vicious aura, incomparably sharp. The bullet still didn't hit Lu Juning. Lu Juning took a deep look at Lu Jinghui. As a male descendant of the Lu family, you really don't know how to behave properly. As a bastard, you don't even know how to greet your elder sister when you see the daughter of the first wife. Unable to do anything to the other party, Lu Jinghui was so angry that he wanted to die. He retorted, "Who do you think you are? How dare you bully my sister? I'll make you suffer. Now kneel in front of me and bark like a dog, and I'll let you go." Lu Jinghui found a way to get off the stage. He had missed several times, and it was too embarrassing. Lu Juning smirked coldly. So arrogant and despotic. Lu Juning narrowed her eyes and stared at Lu Jinghui. If her child didn't die, he would grow up slowly. She would teach him well, and give him the best. But he was killed by Lu Mingxian. Lu Jinghui was a little scared by Lu Juning's gaze. He said a few harsh words and turned to run. The manservant followed behind Lu Jinghui, afraid that something would happen to him. Lu Juning looked at Lu Jinghui's back. He was wearing a brocade robe, just like a little fairy. But he was a vicious, arrogant, and spoiled brat. "Miss, are you all right?" the servant girl asked in a trembling voice. "I'm fine. In the future, don't block me in this kind of thing." Lu Juning looked at the servant girl. "I know your loyalty." Lu Mingxian recuperated for about half a month before leaving the room. Ningxu saw Lu Mingxian sitting on the seat. Her face was a little pale, and her chin was sharp, as if she had just recovered from a serious illness. Lu Mingxian looked at Lu Juning with deep, unsuppressible disgust and hatred. Lu Juning looked indifferent. Sparks crackled between the two of them. Ningxu didn't care about the strange atmosphere between the two of them. Even if the two of them fought to the death, Ningxu wouldn't bat an eyelid. Anyway, between the two of them, if one of them died, it would stop. If there was her, then there was me. If there was me, then there was her. Mr. Lu didn't come to Lu Manor because recently, this Mr. Lu had been involved with men. Mr. Lu hadn't married. After leaving the palace, he became the teacher of the young misses of the wealthy families. Now that his morals were lacking, he naturally couldn't become a teacher. The wealthy families wouldn't let this kind of person teach their daughters. Concubine Yin had a headache. Her daughter was resting in bed, and Mr. Lu had a problem. Concubine Yin directly fired Mr. Lu, and didn't even give him a monthly salary. She didn't even need to think to know who did it. She heard that Mr. Lu went to find a man. In any case, Mr. Lu fell into a cesspool and couldn't be washed clean. It didn't matter to Ningxu whether there was a teacher or not. Without a teacher, he could laze in bed a little longer every morning. Ningxu practiced embroidery in his small courtyard every day. His days were quite comfortable. Occasionally, he would discuss embroidery with Lu Yujing. Compared to Ningxu's calmness, Lu Yujing was very nervous. Ningxu said, "Third sister, I'm a bit nervous." "What are you nervous about? Anyway, even if the sky falls, there are tall people to hold it up. Don't be afraid." Ningxu acted as the middleman and said without raising his head. "Anyway, I'm just nervous," Lu Yujing said. The atmosphere in the house was a bit strange. This wasn't the atmosphere of a harmonious family. There was a low pressure that made people feel stuffy. Ningxu said, "As long as we don't do anything out of line, it will be fine." They were afraid that they wouldn't do anything, and would be swept by the tail of the typhoon. However, being in the eye of the typhoon, even if they didn't do anything, they would still be unlucky. Lu Yujing sighed and continued to write. Concubine Lu had people send pastries over for Ningxu and Lu Yujing to eat. Lu Yujing said enviously, "Third sister, your concubine is so good to you." Lu Yujing's mother died in childbirth. Growing up, she didn't enjoy any maternal or paternal love. The child is the continuation of the mother's life. Of course, she loves the child. You have to live a better life for your concubine. Ningxu took the pastries and gave them to Lu Yujing. Lu Yujing thanked him in a low voice and took the pastries and ate them in small bites. Yuan Xiang walked in. Ningxu and Lu Yujing bowed and greeted. Ningxu said, "Miss Lu Zhen's sister from Madam's side is here." Lu Yujing quickly stood up. "Then I'll leave first." Ningxu nodded his head. Lu Yujing took her things and left the room. She met Lu Zhen in the courtyard. Lu Zhen was concubine Yun's head maid. Naturally, she had a bit of temper. When she saw Lu Yujing, she casually bowed. Chapter 1302. Newbie pays respect to fourth miss. Lu Zhen casually bent her knees, and immediately stood up. Her movements were very perfunctory. Lu Yujing's face turned red. She waved her hand uneasily. "No need, no need." Lu Zhen let out a slight sneer, making Lu Yujing's ears turn red. Lu Yujing took her things and hurriedly left. Lu Zhen's expression was contemptuous. She lifted her foot and stepped through the threshold. "Why is Madam looking for me?" Ningxu asked Lu Zhen. Concubine Yun looked for her a bit frequently. What was it this time? Ningxu tidied up a bit and followed Lu Zhen to see Concubine Yun. "You are also 13 years old. It's time to go out and see the world. In 2 days, you will go to Tiantai Temple to worship Buddha. The temple's great master Ming Ran is going to talk about Buddha. You should also go." Concubine Yun said to Ningxu loftily. Tiantai Temple was the country's imperial temple. Incense was at its peak. It was a place loved by high officials and nobles. Great Master Ming Ran's Buddhist teachings were profound. He was a senior monk. How could she be allowed to go? As a concubine's daughter, she basically had no part in this kind of activity. Go back and prepare. Don't disgrace Lu Manor's prestige. When the time comes, Many nobles will go. Every family's young ladies and gongzi must pay attention to their manners. Don't do anything that will embarrass Lu Manor. Concubine Yun said. Ningxu bowed. I know. You can leave. Concubine Yun waved her hand. Outside the main courtyard, Yuan Xiang immediately said, Miss, that's great. This way, you can meet other noble ladies. So what if she met noble ladies? Even her own sisters fought with each other. Could outsiders help her? It was just a matter of looking at the person. For this kind of thing, there was another possibility. Blind dates were held in the temple. Concubine Lu heard that Ningxu was going to follow Concubine Yin to Tiantai Temple to worship Buddha. She immediately took out her own money to prepare clothes and jewelry for Ningxu. She wanted to let Ningxu show his face in front of those madams and leave a good impression. In the future, someone would propose marriage. Concubine Lu was even more nervous than Ningxu. She kept telling Ningxu what he should do and not be rude. Concubine Lu was like an ant on a hot pan, pacing back and forth, making herself dizzy. Ningxu let Concubine Lu do as she pleased. Concubine Lu wholeheartedly cared for her. Third sister, are you going to worship Buddha? Lu Yujing was very envious. She also looked a little embarrassed. She was also her father's daughter, but she had been completely forgotten. It was because she didn't have a biological mother to protect her. Ningxu said, When you're my age, you'll be able to attend all kinds of banquets. When she was slightly older, they would bring her out to promote her so that people would know that their daughter had grown up and could propose marriage. Lu Yujing replied with an "oh" in disappointment before she turned around and left. The night before they went to Tiantai Temple, Concubine Lu reminded Ningxu again and again, making Ningxu think that she was going to get married tomorrow. This is your first time going out. Don't get into conflicts with others. Just bear with it. Don't talk too much. You have to ask the madam for instructions on everything. Concubine Lu repeatedly warned Ningxu. Ningxu listened carefully and nodded. I know. The next morning, Ningxu put on the clothes and jewelry that Concubine Lu had prepared for her. Ningxu carried the powder with her. When there were many people, it was easy for something to happen. She had to be prepared. In particular, those who went to Tiantai Temple were all people of noble status. If something happened to them, they would become the laughingstock of the upper class. They would never be able to turn over a new leaf. Ningxu had to be prepared. Ningxu took Yuan Xiang to the gate. There were several sedan chairs at the gate. There were also some guards escorting the womenfolk to the temple. Concubine Yun looked at Ningxu from head to toe and nodded reluctantly. She was basically qualified. Ningxu had almost emptied Concubine Lu's family fortune, just so that her daughter could be a little bit more glamorous. Ningxu felt that Concubine Yin was very petty. According to the practice of the other madams, even if she was a concubine's daughter, she had to give her a little bit of good clothes. After all, if she could take out jewelry, it would give the family face. Concubine Yin only cared about stuffing money into her pocket. If she could save it, she would save it and put it in her small private treasury. Ningxu didn't care. She could do whatever she wanted. She didn't want to fight for these small profits. If the Lu family's ship was destroyed, she would take Concubine Lu and leave. Lu Mingxian was wearing brocade clothes. She was more beautiful than a flower. Lu Juning was wearing simple but elegant clothes. The fabric was made of moonlight gauze. As she walked, it reflected a luster, making Lu Juning look as cold as Chang'e in the moon. Even Lu Mingxuan's eyes turned red with jealousy when she saw Lu Juning's clothes. Ningxu took a glance and withdrew her gaze. She said to Concubine Lu, who was standing at the door, Concubine Lu, you can go back. I'm leaving. Be careful on the road. Concubine Lu said to Ningxu eagerly. Ningxu saw forth Miss Lu Yujing carefully poking her head out of the door. She looked at the row of palanquins with envy. Lu Yujing had never left the house since she was young. Ningxu got on the palanquin. The palanquin was lifted up shakily. Ningxu was jolted up and down in the sedan chair. She was a little sleepy. Ningxu walked to Yuan Xiang, who was beside the palanquin, and said, Don't call me if there's nothing. Yes. Ningxu closed her eyes. She sat cross-legged and began to cultivate. After Ningxu's persistent cultivation, She could now carry stones and jump over walls. If there was anything, she should be able to deal with it. Tiantai Temple was very big. The long stairs extended from the foot of the mountain to the top of the mountain. The people who came to worship Buddha had to climb from the foot of the mountain to the top. The palanquin stopped at the foot of the mountain. There were many palanquins at the foot of the mountain. It seemed that many people came to worship Buddha. Ningxu got off the palanquin. She looked up at the stairs. There were many stairs. Climbing up would definitely tire her out, especially for the young ladies who didn't exercise much. Many people were climbing the stairs. Concubine Yun walked in front with Lu Mingxian and Lu Juning. Ningxu walked at the back. The stairs were flat and smooth. The top was clean. Climbing the stairs was physical work. Halfway up, the three people in front were already out of breath. Ningxu lowered her head. She was neither panting nor sweating. From time to time, some young masters walked by. Ningxu lowered her head and walked with her head down. She didn't attract anyone's attention. With the appearance of some young masters, Ningxu was sure that this was a large blind date event. A large event to make friends. Tiantai Temple was decorated in gold and jade. The golden body of the Bodhisattva in the main hall was shining. Concubine Yin brought the three girls to burn incense. Ningxu put the incense in the incense burner and donated some money. Ningxu had just put some silver in the merit box when a pair of slender hands put some silver in first. Ningxu turned to look at the owner of the hands. It was a young man. Chapter 1303. This young man was dressed in a green robe with wide sleeves, a white jade pendant tied to his waist and a jade hairpin on his head. He had a graceful bearing and his face was smooth. He was a handsome man. And one look and you could tell he was a person of high status. Ningxu put the silver pieces into the merit box and turned to leave. Hee, what an ill-fated relationship. This man was that young marquis. He married the previous host Liu. He was indeed gay, looking neither male nor female. Ningxu didn't discriminate against gays. After all, this kind of thing was innate. But the other party tricking him into marriage made Ningxu quite disgusted. The previous host's wish was not to marry Liu, so she didn't want to have anything to do with Liu. Ningxu left the main hall and went to find Concubine Yin. He saw Concubine Yin talking to a noble lady. Concubine Yin's attitude was very low, very humble, as if she was trying to please others. Usually, she was full of style at home. When she went out, Concubine Yin was just a concubine. How could the mistress of the house lower herself to talk to a concubine? Ningxu, who was watching from the side, felt awkward. So why did he go over? He was asking to be humiliated. Ningxu stood in the corner and looked at these madams and young misses, standing in twos and threes and talking. It was really a beautiful picture. These women, each one of them had a graceful bearing and were beautiful. Beauties. Ahem ahem. Ningxu heard a slight cough in her ear. Ningxu turned her head and saw Liu walking towards her. As soon as he came close, Ningxu smelled a scent on his body. It was a bit fragrant but not pungent. The smell was quite good. Young miss, you're here alone? Liu opened his mouth, his voice was like a gurgling stream. Young miss, you're the young miss. She wasn't standing here alone. Was there anyone else? Were they blind? Ningxu's mouth twitched. He lowered his head and didn't say anything. Young miss, why did you leave as soon as you saw me? Liu looked at Ningxu. His eyes sparkled. Ningxu, flirt my ass, do you want to be a lesbian with me? Ningxu only said, my eyes are not good. I didn't see you. She would never marry Liu again in this lifetime, so if Liu still wanted to use her as a shield, then she would not be polite. Liu rubbed her nose and chuckled. Ningxu clearly saw Liu's impatient expression, but he still patiently dealt with her, showing off his charm. Could it be that Liu had long taken a fancy to the original owner's weak and uncompetitive personality? She was also a concubine's daughter, so even if the matter was exposed in the future, the original owner would endure it? Young master, this little girl is about to leave. Young master, please go ahead. Ningxu said. Wait a minute. Before Liu could finish speaking, Ningxu had already turned around and left. Liu frowned and stared at Ningxu's back. This woman's temperament. Ningxu walked to Concubine Yun's side to see if Liu dared to come over and take liberties with her. Concubine Yun introduced her daughter Lu Mingxian to everyone she met. Lu Mingxian was born bright and beautiful, very likable. However, even Concubine Yun was met with a nose full of dust. It was because Concubine Yun's identity was not likable. In the end, Lu Mingxuan's expression became ugly. She saw Lu Juning in the crowd talking and laughing with others. Like a moon surrounded by stars, Lu Mingxuan's expression became even uglier. It felt like there were needles stabbing her heart. How was she worse than Lu Juning? It was because she was not the daughter of the first wife and did not have a prominent family. Her wide sleeves covered her tightly clenched fists. Even so, she was better than Lu Juning. Lu Juning saw that Lu Mingxuan's face was twisted in jealousy and smiled in disdain. Ningxu sighed. When would he be able to rest? Ningxu looked at the two girls fighting. His heart did not waver. He could not understand what was there to fight over such a small matter. Just because one person spoke to her and did not speak to him, a world war would break out? It was completely meaningless. This kind of fight was really meaningless. What was the point of fighting over these things? Competition was the root of all evil. Ningxu, I want to rest. The third prince has arrived. A voice rang out. When the girls heard this, they all tidied up their clothes and welcomed the third prince in their best state. The world's biggest scumbag had appeared. Third Prince Shenhao. With the help of Lu Juning's family and Lu Juning's family, Shenhao ascended the throne. However, not long after he ascended the throne, he killed the donkey. He even killed his own son who had his own bloodline. Shenhao had the looks of a member of the royal family. He was handsome and had a noble aura around him. No matter where he went, he was the husband that all girls dreamed of. He was a member of the royal family and was handsome. Everyone bowed toward Shenhao. When Lu Juning saw Shenhao, her body stiffened. She could not help but tremble. She could barely suppress the hatred in her heart. Lu Mingxuan's eyes lit up as she looked at Shenhao. Ningxu lowered his head. What was there to fight over? He would just chop off his penis and ensure that no one would fight over it. Lu Juning turned around and left. When she saw Shenhao, she couldn't help but think of her own child. The child that called her mother was killed by Shenhao. Shenhao looked at Lu Juning. He was talking to someone while paying attention to the noble ladies around him. A monk arranged a room for him. Ningxu heaved a sigh of relief. He could finally rest. Master Liao Ran was going to teach Buddhism tomorrow, so they had to stay at Tiantai Temple for one night. Even if it was just one night, it was easy to get into trouble. When it was time to eat, Lu Juning did not appear. She had seen her enemy from her previous life and had no appetite. Ningxu felt that the vegetarian food in Tiantai Temple was really good. It was meticulously made and tasted good. After all, it was a royal temple. After living in Zelda, Ningxu cherished food very much. He was not picky about food anymore. Only after experiencing that did he know that having food to eat and living was a very happy thing. Ningxu chewed slowly, but she ate quite a lot. After eating the vegetarian food, Ningxu took a walk in front of his room. He did not plan to walk around the temple. With so many people, he could meet people wherever he went. The sky gradually darkened. Ningxu returned to his room to rest. Yuan Xiang slept next to him. When Yuan Xiang fell asleep, Ningxu sat cross-legged on the bed to cultivate. Occasionally, he could hear the sound of the roof tiles gently moving. Ningxu twitched the corner of his mouth. These people who knew martial arts came and went, stepping on the roof. How could they let him sleep? Ningxu got out of bed after cultivating until the sky was slightly bright. The monks were doing their morning classes. There were many monks in Tiantai Temple. With so many monks chanting together, and the sound of knocking on the wooden fish, the sound could be heard very far. The entire temple was filled with grand Sanskrit sounds. Ningxu waited for the monks to finish their morning classes, so that he could eat breakfast. The food in Tiantai Temple was delicious. Ningxu was impressed by the vegetarian food in Tiantai Temple. It was better than meat. The guests in the temple gradually woke up. When the monks finished their morning classes, Ningxu happily went to eat breakfast. The Lu family had donated so much incense money. It was not too much to eat vegetarian food. Chapter 1304. Concubine Yun, Lu Juning, Lu Mingxian, and Ning Shu sat together. The three of them didn't have much of an appetite. Ning Shu ate alone with his head down. Concubine Yun glanced at Ning Shu, rolled her eyes and looked away. Today is Master Ming Ran's lecture. I will think of a way to have Master Ming Ran read your fortune. Concubine Yun said to Lu Mingxian. Thank you, mother. Lu Mingxian said happily. If Master Ming Ran read her fortune, her life would be a golden path. But Master Ming Ran never read fortunes easily. It would be a bit difficult for Concubine Yun to get Master Ming Ran to read her fortune. Lu Juning's expression was indifferent, as if she wasn't interested in reading fortunes. Ning Shu picked up some food. The atmosphere at the table was particularly stiff. After breakfast, a monk informed everyone to go to the Hall of Great Strength. Master Ming Ran was preparing to talk about Buddhism. The crowd went to the Hall of Great Strength. There were many praying mats in the hall. According to status, the person sitting in front had the highest status. Like this, the Lu family was ranked at the back. But Lu Juning sat in front, making Concubine Yun and Lu Mingxian so angry that their lungs were about to explode. Concubine Yun's status was really too low. Ning Shu sat behind Concubine Yun and looked at Monk Ming Ran in front of him. Monk Ming Ran's snow-white eyebrows drooped to the corner of his mouth. There were many wrinkles on his face. He had a kind face and his eyes were neither arrogant nor impatient. He had the air of an eminent monk. During the lecture, people kept leaving, either to go to the toilet or to drink some water. But they were all careful to avoid disturbing Master Ming Ran. Ning Shu listened to Monk Ming Ran's lecture, while paying attention to the situation around him. Occasionally he would meet Li Yu's eyes. Li Yu smiled at Ning Shu, looking very handsome. Ning Shu, why are you looking at me? You want to flirt with me again? Ning Shu looked away expressionlessly. Seriously listened to Monk Ming Ran's lecture. He was already so old. Ning Shu noticed that Lu Juning left the table. He didn't know what she was going to do. Lu Mingxuan's face had a happy smile. Ning Shu looked at the two of them and felt very tired. Benefactor, there's someone outside who wants to see you. A novice monk whispered to Ning Shu. Ning Shu said in his heart, here it comes. Ning Shu bent down and walked out of the grand hall. He saw the maid beside Lu Juning. Third miss, my young miss wants to ask you for a favor. The maid Ning Shu said. Ning Shu's heart turned cold as he asked, what happened to your miss? Third miss, please come with me, the maid said. The maidservant led Ning Shu through many twists and turns before finally arriving at a room. Third miss, please go in. Ning Shu put his hand on the sachet and asked, where is second sister now? It's in the room, the maid said. Ning Shu stretched out his hand and knocked the maidservant unconscious. Then he pulled her into the room. As soon as he entered, Ning Shu smelled a smell. Smoke was rising from the incense burner. Ning Shu sneered. Doing such a thing in such a place, did he really revere the Bodhisattva? Ning Shu held his breath and took off the maid's clothes. He stuffed the maid under the bed and changed into the maid's clothes. Then, Ning Shu covered his nose and went out of the room to guard at the door. After a while, he heard hurried footsteps. Ning Shu saw that it was Lu Juning. How is it? Lu Juning asked Ning Shu. Ning Shu imitated the maid's voice. Inside. Lu Juning took out a handkerchief and went into the room. Ning Shu followed. Ning Shu covered his nose and sprinkled a handful of powder on Lu Juning. Then, he hit Lu Juning with his palm. Lu Juning fainted at once. Ning Shu dragged Lu Juning to the bed in the room. He poured some things into the incense burner. Since you like to play with these things, I'll add some fun for you. Ning Shu locked the door and was about to find a place to change his clothes. But he didn't expect to meet Lu Mingxian. Is it done? Lu Mingxian asked Ning Shu. Lu Mingxuan's face was full of excitement. It was as if she could already see Lu Juning's reputation being ruined. Ning Shu covered his face with a handkerchief, only revealing his eyes. Eldest miss, it's done. You can go and take a look. I'll go and find someone first. Lu Mingxian wanted to catch them in the act. Eldest miss, you should go and take a look first. Ning Shu said. Lu Mingxian thought that it was right. It wouldn't be good if she made a mistake. She had prepared a good man for Lu Juning. Lu Mingxian stared at Ning Shu. Why are you covering your mouth? That medicine is too strong. I'm a bit afraid of breathing it in. I still don't dare to put it down. Ningxu lowered his head and said. Lu Mingxian went to the room, but there was no sound at all. What's going on? Lu Mingxian couldn't help but open the door. She covered her nose and entered the room. There was no one on the bed. Ningxu was also a bit surprised. Lu Juning should be in this room. Sure enough, he had the halo of a main character. Ningxu knocked Lu Mingxian unconscious and placed her on the bed. A few cat meows came from outside the room. Ningxu went out and saw a man. This man was ugly and extremely wretched. This was the person Lu Mingxian found to defile Lu Juning. But he was ugly. Who was he trying to disgust? Can I go in now? The man rubbed his hands and asked Ningxu urgently. Ningxu rolled his eyes. What the hell was this? Ningxu could vaguely hear Lu Mingxian moaning inside. Clearly, the medicine was taking effect. Ningxu knocked out the wretched man with a palm and dragged him to a corner. After feeding him a pack of knockout powder, he would probably sleep for a while. No, it was this man who defiled Lu Yueyan in the previous life. Ningxu pulled out the hairpin on his head and turned the man over. He stabbed the hairpin into the man's waist. The man immediately groaned in pain. His face was covered with yellow sweat and he fainted. Ningxu changed his clothes and put the maid's clothes on her. He was ready to return to the Hall of Great Strength. Ningxu saw the swaying Li Yu and a thought came to his mind. Ningxu appeared behind Li Yu in a flash and knocked Li Yu unconscious. Ningxu shook his hand. His hand was really tired today. Ningxu carried Li Yu to the room and put Li Yu and Lu Mingxian to sleep together. Even if the two of them didn't do anything, lying together couldn't explain it. Lu Mingxian bestowed a marriage for Lu Yueyan to marry Li Yu. Now that she was with Li Yu, Lu Mingxian could only wait to marry Li Yu. Ningxu closed the door and returned to the Hall of Great Strength at the fastest speed. Concubine Yun glanced at Ningxu. Where did you go? Ningxu looked terrified. I went to the toilet. My stomach felt uncomfortable. You saw your eldest sister? Ningxu shook his head blankly. Ningxu listened to Monk Ming Ran's preaching while thinking where Lu Juning went. Could it be that her secret guard saved her? But that medicine was enough for Lu Juning. The medicine in the incense burner was strong. After burning, it wouldn't leave any traces. Chapter 1305. What happened was that Lu Mingxuan's body was ruined by Lu Juning. Lu Mingxian was so angry that she planned to find a man to ruin Lu Juning's chastity, while all the officials and nobles were present. Lu Juning sensed the conspiracy and immediately thought of Ningxu, the Ningxu who was flirting with Li Yu in the main hall. In order to create hatred for Lu Mingxian, Lu Juning had a servant girl call Ningxu. Ningxu bluntly knocked Lu Juning unconscious and placed Lu Juning in the room. In the end, Lu Juning disappeared and Ningxu brought Lu Mingxian into the room. After that, Li Yu and Ningxu decided to let the two of them become a couple, which solved the problem of marrying Li Yu. However, Lu Juning's servant girl was a double agent. She took orders from both Lu Juning and Lu Mingxian. It was really interesting. There were so many bastards in the pond, but so many demons in the temple. Ningxu moved his wrist. His hand hurt. After Monk Ming Ran finished preaching, many noble women wanted Master Ming Ran to read their fortunes. Master Ming Ran asked these people to write down their birth characters. If they were fated, he would read their fortunes. What he meant was that it depended on his mood. He could also choose people with good fortunes. Concubine Yin gave Lu Mingxuan's birth characters to the monk. The monk gave a note with the birth characters to Monk Ming Ran. Master Ming Ran usually didn't read fortunes, so the quota was very precious. Concubine Yin only prepared Lu Mingxuan's birth characters. It would be good if she had the fortune of being rich and noble. It would be even better if she had the fate of the phoenix. The current emperor, when Master Ming Ran read the fate of the Son of Heaven, ascended to the throne. Concubine Yin looked forward to it and frowned. Where did Mingxian go? Go and find her. Ningxu was confused. This temple is so big. Where can I find her? Look everywhere. Concubine Yin said irritably. Go and find her. Don't talk back. Ningxu could only go and find her. At this moment, a woman's scream sounded from somewhere. When everyone heard the sound, they all went over and saw a man lying in the grass. The man was lying on the ground, and it was unknown if he was still alive. Ningxu looked at the man. It was the man she had crippled before. Who is he? Why did he come to Tiantai Temple? What's wrong with Tiantai Temple? Why did they let people in? Everyone was talking about it. Concubine Yin frowned. Where did Mingxian go? Why hasn't she returned yet? Concubine Yin was afraid that something would happen, so she didn't dare to make it public. She could only search everywhere. She also instructed Ningxu not to spread the matter when he found the person. Ningxu looked like a yes man, and agreed to whatever Concubine Yin said. Concubine Yin discovered that not only had Lu Mingxian disappeared, even Lu Juning had disappeared. Concubine Yin's heart jumped. She felt that something had happened. She was afraid that Lu Juning would harm her daughter. Ningxu lowered his head and said to Concubine Yin, "Foreign, I can't find eldest sister." Trash! Concubine Yin coldly shouted, making Ningxu's body tremble. Go and find her. What are you waiting for? Ningxu could only look for her with a bitter face. At this time, the Marquise was also looking for her son. When she saw Ningxu, Ningxu asked, "Third Miss Lu, do you know where my son Liu went?" Ningxu looked flattered. "Foreign, how do you know that I am ranked third?" "You just need to ask to know. Do you know where my son went?" Foreign Li asked. Ningxu shook his head. "I don't know. I am also looking for my eldest sister. And second sister." Foreign Li frowned. Ningxu lowered his head and didn't speak. He looked weak and petty. Foreign Li looked at Ningxu from head to toe and nodded with satisfaction. Ningxu was talking to Foreign Li. Foreign Li pulled Ningxu aside and asked him all kinds of questions. Ningxu lowered his head and answered in a low voice. Concubine Yin couldn't find her daughter, so she asked the monks of Tiantai Temple to help. Lu Mingxian and Lu Juning were missing. Concubine Yin was afraid that Lu Juning did something to her daughter. There is strength in numbers. Finally, they found Lu Mingxian. In the side room, the situation was beyond the monks' expectations. A man and a woman were together. It was simply a stain on the Buddhist Pure Land. Liu grabbed Lu Mingxuan's waist and entered from the back. Their faces were flushed and their expressions were dreamy. Concubine Yin saw this charming scene. Her head was hit by something. It was as if an arrow had pierced her heart. She was stunned. They were found out. Both of them didn't stop their shameful exercise. Concubine Yin shouted. She suddenly rushed over and pulled Liu away. She covered her daughter's body with a quilt. The blood on the quilt stung Concubine Yin's eyes. Liu also woke up. Seeing that he was naked, he quickly covered the important parts with clothes. Liu's expression was strange. When he saw the woman on the bed, he looked like he wanted to vomit. It was as if he had stepped on shit. When Ningxu and Foreign Li arrived, they saw this scene. Ningxu saw Liu's naked body. His expression was inexplicable. Wasn't he walking on the road? How did he have sex with Lu Mingxian? This. Foreign Li couldn't speak for a long time. "Mother, I was schemed against," Liu said with a pale face. He clearly came out to find third Miss Lu, but he suddenly fainted. Then he inexplicably did that. "What did you say? You defiled my daughter. You still dare to say that you schemed against her?" Concubine Yin suddenly shouted. Foreign Li frowned. "My son must have been schemed against." Foreign Li knew that her son had an unusual hobby. He wouldn't do this kind of thing with a woman. Lu Mingxian hid in the quilt. She didn't dare to come out. Her whole body was trembling. "My daughter was the one who suffered. You mean that my daughter schemed against your son? Even if my daughter is stupid, she wouldn't do such a thing." Concubine Yin said hatefully. "If you don't give me an explanation for this matter, my Lu family won't let it go. Your daughter is just a concubine's daughter. She wants to climb up the social ladder. My son is the heir of the Marquis Fu. He is also the eldest son. Wasn't it your daughter who schemed against my son?" Lu Mingxian stuck her head out of the quilt. She cried and shook her head. "I didn't. Mother, I didn't." She also didn't know how things became like this. Shouldn't it be Lu Juning who ended up like this? Why? You. Concubine Yin heard Foreign Li say this. She was so angry that she almost fainted. Even if it is the Marquis Fu, Lu family won't let it go. Concubine Yin gritted her teeth. Her daughter's reputation was ruined. Foreignly looked at Lu Mingxian on the bed. Everyone saw that her daughter had sex with this woman. This woman was barely acceptable. Foreignly said condescendingly. The Marquis Fu will take responsibility for this matter. Discuss a date and set it. Chapter 1306. Li Yu's mother, Madame Li, straightforwardly set the date, which meant that she agreed to Li Yu and Lu Mingxuan's marriage. She agreed so straightforwardly that Concubine Yun and Lu Mingxian didn't come back to their senses. They felt that there should be a fight before they agreed. Mother. Li Yu frowned and shouted. Since the two children have this kind of thing, then let the two children get married. If your Lu family isn't willing, then let's forget about it. Madame Li Yu said casually. Anyway, it wasn't her son who lost his chastity. It was just that it didn't sound good, and it wouldn't affect Li Yu's future. How can we forget about it? We can't forget about it like this. Concubine Yun immediately said. I have to go back and discuss this matter with Master. Madame Li made a sound of agreement. She glanced at Lu Mingxian on the bed and turned to leave. Li Yu passed by Ning Shu and paused for a moment before also leaving. Only Ning Shu and Concubine Yun were left in the room. Lu Mingxian immediately shouted, Mother, my butt hurts. Women's first time is always like this. Concubine Yun comforted. But Li Yu is the young Marquis and will inherit the Marquis Fu in the future. It's not bad. And you'll be the main wife. The method wasn't important. The result was important. But Lu Mingxuan's expression was very unwilling. She still wanted to climb up. A marquis's wife was a bit different from her goal. And Lu Mingxian bit her lip and said, Mother, my butt hurts. Li Yu entered that place, not the front. Ning Shu. Even when they were hungry, they still chose to walk the dry road. Lu Mingxuan's heart was very strange. Her lower body hurt as if it was being torn apart. There was blood flowing out. If it wasn't for the lubrication of the blood, who knew how painful it would be? Concubine Yun said with an uncertain expression. It should be because Li Yu is young and doesn't have much experience. Daughter, your reputation is ruined. You can only marry Li Yu. So no matter what, you have to marry into the Marquis Fu. Concubine Yun said. Even if Lu Mingxian didn't want to marry, there was nothing she could do. Mother, it must be Lu Juning. It must be her. She turned around to harm me. Bitao, that damned girl, betrayed me. Lu Mingxian gnashed her teeth and said with a ruthless expression, I won't let her go. Lu Mingxian gritted her teeth so hard that it sounded like she wanted to chew Lu Juning alive. Ning Shu lowered his head and stood to the side, as if he didn't exist. Concubine Yin Ning Shu waved his hand. Go out and guard. Oh. Ning Shu turned around and left the room. When he went out, he heard Concubine Yin say that this time Lu Juning will not have an easy time. Ning Shu waited at the door, not knowing where Lu Juning went. She was clearly in the room. How did she disappear? Could it be that she was taken away by someone? Even if she was taken away, Lu Juning had absorbed a lot of spices. If he wanted to get rid of the drug's effects, the fastest way was to blend in. Lu Mingxian asked very unwillingly, Mother, where is that bitch Lu Juning? Seeing me in such a sorry state, it's impossible for her not to appear. Where is that bitch? I want to kill her. Tell Mother honestly. Did you do something? Otherwise this wouldn't have happened. Concubine Yin asked. Lu Mingxian hid this matter from everyone. Her body was damaged by Lu Juning. How could she be willing to accept this? But how did things develop to this state? Lu Mingxuan's mind was still in a daze. Concubine Yin couldn't help but hit Lu Mingxian. Before doing anything, can't you discuss it with me first? If the plan was meticulous, this kind of thing wouldn't have happened. Mother, how would I know this would happen? Lu Mingxian cried and shouted. She didn't regret arranging this matter. She only hated that Lu Juning didn't take the bait. Where is Lu Juning? Lu Mingxian asked. She was in such a sorry state now. How could Lu Juning not appear and laugh at her? That's right. Lu Juning also disappeared. Concubine Yun's expression was malicious. Anyway, your reputation is already ruined. We can't let Lu Juning get away with it. Even if she died, she had to drag someone down with her. Concubine Yin left the room. She shouted and cried all the way. She said that the second miss was missing. She couldn't find her anywhere. She didn't know if something had happened. She had disappeared for so long. Something must have happened. Concubine Yin shouted in the temple that Lu Juning was missing. She had been missing for a long time. Something must have happened. In a short while, everyone in the temple knew that the second miss of the Lu family was missing. The monks in the temple also began to look for Lu Juning's whereabouts. Ningxu felt that Lu Juning shouldn't be in Tiantai Temple. Otherwise, why couldn't so many people find her? Many people said that the Lu family was really unlucky. First, they did this kind of thing in a Buddhist place. Then the daughter of the first wife went missing. She had been missing for so long. It was hard to say if she could still keep her innocence. Come in and help me put on my clothes, Lu Mingxian said weakly from inside the room. The servant girls all went to find Lu Juning. Only Ningxu stayed outside. When he heard the sound, he opened the door and went in. Why are you here? Lu Mingxian looked at the submissive Ningxu and said with an ugly expression, Are you laughing at me in your heart right now? Ningxu lowered his head and shook his head. It was not a joke. It was just an eye for an eye. Help me put on my clothes, Lu Mingxian ordered. She didn't want to stay in this place at all. Ningxu grunted and picked up the clothes on the ground. Lu Mingxian lifted the quilt. There were bruises all over her body. There were bloodstains on the bedsheet. Ningxu put on the clothes for Lu Mingxian. After putting on the clothes, he covered her face with a veil. Lu Mingxuan's walking posture was very strange. It was probably because of the pain from her wound. With every step she took, her face turned paler. Ningxu couldn't help but shake his head. The wound had not healed. During this period of time, pooping would definitely make Lu Mingxian suffer a fate worse than death. Liu was really a beast. Lu Mingxian covered herself up tightly. After such a thing happened, Lu Mingxian had no face to see anyone. The only thing that supported her was seeing Lu Juning in the same miserable state as her. Lu Juning came back by herself. Her clothes were neat and tidy. Her hair was smooth and was still in the same bun as before. At first glance, it was obvious that nothing had happened. Second miss, where did you go? Are you okay? Are you hurt? Concubine Yun saw Lu Juning in perfect condition. Thinking that her daughter's innocence would be ruined, her eyes turned red. But in front of so many people, Concubine Yin had to pretend to care for her. Her face was distorted. When she spoke, she intentionally or unintentionally splashed dirty water on Lu Juning. Concubine Yin, I'm fine. I just strolled around. Lu Juning said coldly. You left for a long time. I was worried sick. Did someone kidnap you? A strange man appeared in the temple. I don't know if there are other people. Concubine Yun said without worry. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.